at Cafe Kubal this time around. Normally you see us inside of the studios, and once a month we come out to Cafe Kubal. Locations all throughout central and upstate New York. 343 Fayette Street in Manlius is where we are today. You also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse at their drive-through location, and on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, and 401 South Salina Street. For the first time ever, and the first time that he's done anything like this, I believe.
Yes, that is true.
Ryan Cabiles, Director of Strength and Conditioning for Syracuse Orange Men's Basketball, is here with me with some Cafe Kubal, enjoying our morning here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. How are you, sir?
Awesome.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
This is great. First time ever. Anything like this. So it's a pleasure to be here and just share everything with you best I can. We'll go from there.
Yeah. This is the True Hollywood story of Ryan Cabiles, and we're gonna get really into it here. We're gonna get to do a lot of different things, but no, we're gonna talk about a lot of things today and really get to know you and kind of what makes you tick and what's about it. So let's start with what is strength and conditioning? How do you define that? Because it's when people hear it, it's so broad.
Very, very broad. I'm just going to take it back to my background. My background was actually in sports medicine and athletic training. And so it really morphed into that. And so basically for us, and for me, we're just really trying to help enhance our student athletes, performance, any way we can. So it could be from I call it injury resiliency. I don't say injury prevention because things do happen. We all know they happen.
Yeah.
But when they do, and we come back with, better athletes, and we get them better, that's the overall goal. And so, injury resiliency, increased strength, increased speed, overall performance. And so, it's kind of a little bit of everything. When it comes to that,
you said
get to that point.
Injury resiliency. Mm-hmm. I've never heard anybody say it like that. What like you said, things happen, so it's not prevention because injuries are going to come about, but injury resiliency. The fact that you use the word resiliency, why?
I think it's just a way for us to make sure that we feel that our athletes are training in the safest way possible. Because we want to be able to provide that, and with the technology that we have nowadays, it's amazing what's out there. Yeah. Especially in the last 10 years, with different apparatuses, pieces of equipment, to help us find these things out before things can happen. So it's really important for us to have, as strength and conditioning professionals, a good relationship with our athletic training staff, our sports medicine staff. And so I've been very lucky throughout my career that's been the case.
So you having that connection with, like you said, the sports and medicine staff and nutrition as well. Mm-hmm. Let's get into that. Strength and conditioning, nutrition, how do they go hand in hand? How do they help each other out? Because when it comes to stuff like this, I don't think we talk enough about what's going in your body and what you're doing and how that can affect things.
And no way, disclaimer, no way I'm a dietitian. I think strength and conditioning professionals are seen as that, but we try to educate our student athletes as much as possible. With our athletic trainer and myself, and we want to be able to move forward with, at least getting help in that regard. Having a dietitian on board and helping us get better. But really, we have a bunch of Ferraris, I guess, if you want to, and you don't want to feed them junk. And so, we're very mindful of what, we provide our guys. Not everything can be the cleanest. Yeah. And we know that because we're not going to try to throw it off. But, we have a special group right now that we're trying to, young group that we're trying to help get better in those regards. Just really trying to, educate them as much as possible.
And when you're educating them on kind of what to put, like you said, you have a lot of Ferraris. So when you're educating them about what to put in and all that, who on the team right now? Okay. I'd love to hear this.
On the spot.
Yeah. Who on the team is the hardest to get to not go after that like junk food, so to speak?
That's a tough one. It's, being my first time, doing this. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but I guess there are 2 or 3 guys that we have.
Okay.
They have their specifics in what they like. Now,
Okay.
it's really not all that bad.
Right.
And but it's within that.
I feel like
So-
Jesse is one of them.
No, Jesse's
Jesse?
has gotten better.
Okay, but I feel like because Jesse's got that like fun loving. I feel like I could see Jesse kind of sneak a little Snickers bar in the corner.
Oh yeah, and like things like that. That's fine. That's okay. But actually, I don't think he does.
Okay.
He likes his protein supplements.
All right.
He eats clean. It's funny because I was teasing him yesterday before after their team meeting.
Yeah.
And so we have our team meal. We have a protein. We have a carbohydrate, 2 sources of protein, carbohydrate,
Yeah.
such vegetables and things like that.
Yeah.
He comes over with one tray, one box, because they take the to-go boxes. They go relax, recover, whatever. And it's finals week as well, so
Yeah.
they're trying to get a lot of stuff done. And I was like, "That's it, Jesse? Just one box?" He's like, "Yeah. I got some other stuff at home that I want to get. And can I make a shake while I'm here?" I'm like, "For sure, definitely. That's him."
So, but who has like the best food that's maybe non-traditional? Not putting anybody on the spot, but who likes their stuff? Is it Joe? Does Joe like his stuff?
Benny loves his Chipotle.
Benny, you know what? I was gonna literally say who's my burrito guy. I genuinely was gonna be
That's
like,
it.
who's the one to house a burrito? So Benny.
It's a man after my own heart. Like it's
Yeah.
I am I grew up in California, so I had food, Mexican food everywhere. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the burritos and the tacos and things like that. And so it's
We don't really have
you know.
enough here. I feel like there's certain like places that people have told me about, but like I'm part Hispanic, part Italian.
Mm-hmm.
I make it at home,
Okay.
and I would put my nachos up against anybody.
Nice. Well,
But I put the jalapenos on it too.
okay, that's fine. I love that. The hot stuff. Hot stuff is good. But yeah, Benny's that guy.
Benny's the guy. Benny's the Chipotle guy.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. So what's Joe? What is Joe?
Joe's very basic.
Joe's basic,
He's
okay.
a
Meat and potatoes?
meat and potatoes guy.
All right. Okay.
Bottom line, that's it.
Meat and
That's it.
potatoes
Yes.
Joe. I like it.
Yeah. Meat and
So-
potatoes.
Yeah, we're getting to the thick of things here now.
Yeah, I
like
know.
that.
When it comes to nutrition, it's
Well, I mean, because
It's
listen,
crazy.
everybody has stuff that they like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told people that, during really at the beginning of COVID when I got out and I was, I really put in like healthy mind, healthy body,
Sure,
healthy
yeah,
body,
for
healthy
sure.
mind that they give back and forth. And, I just got out, I started walking and I kept walking and walking and
Yeah.
my body changed and people were like, and my mind changed too. And they were like, well, how did you do it? And I said, you walk. And they're like, well, how did you get healthy? I'm like, I walked.
I walked.
And I stretched, and you do crunches and different things, and they're like, well, did you change your diet? I was like, not really. A lot of it was like, if I wanted to have some pizza, I made sure I did something about it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I like drastically changed everything. It's just amazing how people are like, well, how do you do it? I said, you put the work in. That's the
No
only way.
question. Bottom line, the work is key, in all of this. And you see it from our guys, and a guy like, going back to Jesse, as a freshman and what he's doing now, and
Yep.
how he's developed, on the basketball court, which Coach Griffin and especially things that he's doing in the weight room and having national team experience, and so he's putting it all together right now, and so we're really proud of him because he's continuing to get better still.
Yeah, I mean Jesse, it's great to see it now, but I also like that I've been able to say this, and not once but multiple times. I was a fan of Jesse more than 2 years ago, and so to see everybody like, wow, Jesse's pretty good, I was sitting here going into last year saying he might be one of the best centers they've had in a long time. This year I'm like, I feel like I don't know if I can name a true center because I don't consider Rock a true center. He had to play kind of out of position at times and do different things. But when I look at Jesse, I was like, he could dribble. At times, he's the best free throw shooter on the team. He knows how to attack the rim. He gets after the ball. At almost 7 foot, he will handle that ball. He'll handle it down low. He'll handle it up high. He knows how to move. He knows how to post up. He knows a lot of different things and how to work guys in. And I mean, I don't know if I've seen a more agile, more effective, more moving without the ball center at Syracuse in a really long time than Jesse. And I love that people are on the Jesse bandwagon now, but I mean, I think that I was driving that cart because back in a couple of years ago, it was like, who's Jesse? And I was like, do you guys not see what he's doing? And I think it was one play where he had gotten the ball, he was underneath, and he had gotten the offensive rebound. He was like dribbling underneath, got the offensive rebound, put it back up, did something else, and I was looking at him going like, this is something I would see a guard do, everything he did in like a short span of time, and it's 6'11" doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now let me ask you this: who do you see? Who's your next guy? So you drove the Jesse cart. Who's the next guy on the cart?
My next guy on the team?
One or two. I don't know.
Okay.
It could be.
On the team right now, I would say, well, I mean, obviously, Judah's got really good ball handling skills and can do some different things, but I would say on the team right now, I would say Munir is a guy that I'm high on because people always complain about the center's hands at Syracuse and his ability, his hand-eye coordination to block dang near everything. I mean, he wants to block every single shot, and I love it.
Fantastic.
And the offensive rebounds, putting the ball back up. So I'd say Munir's another guy that I think people will probably jump on. And there's a bunch of young guys for me to go through. You know what? I'll say this one. I do like Malik, so I want to just make mention in the time capsule, December 13th, 2022. I said Malik.
Let's go.
But the guy that I've already said that I think people are really going to love his shot, and I think he's going to turn out big for Syracuse. He's going to have some game winners. I think it's Justin Taylor.
Nice.
I do think that with him.
It's awesome because in a guy like Justin, when it comes to what I have to offer to this team, he's been very consistent in that. Now, coming in, he was already a monster.
Yeah.
And so now I had to take what he's done over the last, maybe 5-6 years. I think he's been training for a long time and kind of, help them with that. And for me, it's more of he has a strength. He's working on his mobility and he's stretching every day. He's doing all the things that he needs to do.
Yeah.
He's continuing to get stronger, but he doesn't need to at a rate that some of these guys have to. But really trying to help him move better with the strength that he has.
Yeah.
And so when we look at different, student athletes, and we're going to go back to Jesse again, when he first came in, he actually was fairly strong. He didn't look it, but he still had to kind of get those movement patterns, kind of learn what he needed to do in the basketball court, get that experience, and then, push away. And now he's got that experience, and he's got even more strength. He's got the mobility. He's doing that. And so with Justin, same thing. Working on all those things.
I asked Jesse this after the Georgetown game, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it because he answered me in a way that only Jesse can, and I appreciated the answer. Who's a better shot blocker right now, Munir or Jesse?
Oh, snap. What did he say?
He said Munir's coming for me, but I think I'm still doing some things. Like he thinks he's still got it, but he's like, Munir's coming.
Yeah, there's some battles that go on in practice and things like that, but I think with Munir too, and he's a high energy guy. He's always screaming, he's always yelling, encouraging, and so with that, he really has the sense of urgency to do those things. It's that one thing that he wants to do. If he had to pick one thing, that's one thing that he wants to do. He wants to get up there, block shots.
Yeah.
He's got to be able to get out there, get out to the corner, whatever, block shots. So it's that's a battle in itself with those guys.
So who would you pick?
Oh, who would I pick? Oh, that's what we're getting to now.
Yeah.
All right.
Jesse picked Jesse, but he did it in such a way where he was like, he didn't not pick Munir. He just kind of, it's good to have this problem, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Because Munir, what is his first game? He had, I think, what do you have, like 4?
Yeah, 4 or 5 or something
and
like that.
he sent 2 of them into the stands.
Yeah.
Like when he blocked one of those shots, he sent that thing to the moon, which was pretty awesome.
I think with Munir, it's just blatant. It's like, I'm gonna block your shot, pow. Jesse's very subtle in his ways, and you know, when he gets in that mode, you know, he can knock it out of the park. So maybe that's answering something.
Okay. My thing with Jesse though is like I can see him as that silent killer. He gets into the ACC, he feels some type of way, and he's hitting those shots. Munir I think Munir would block a 5-year-old child. I really do.
No, that's it. His sense of urgency. Like, get that thing out of here.
Yeah, I feel like Munir, if Munir's ever blessed to have children, he's gonna swat it like crazy, and he's gonna be like, listen, I'm your dad. I'm gonna teach you that life is hard. You gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
no, for sure. But it's good. It's good to have, you know, both those guys and to have Munir on board because he's a good young person.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's great energy. You know, for me, he does what he needs to do. For Mike, our athletic trainer, he does what he needs to do over there, and so you only could go upwards.
Yeah, and he's tremendous. We're here with Ryan Cabiles, Cafe Kubal, 343 Fayette Street, Manlius, New York. I call it the giant behemoth of a brown stripe building. It's where all the roads converge into Manlius. You can't miss it. I also call it the Manlius Welcome Center because of that. And we are enjoying some Cafe Kubal today. I forgot, because I know they get festive, I have peppermint in my chai today.
Nice,
so
that's beautiful.
I like to mix it up, and that was my thing. Is like, you know, a lot of people that drink coffee and whatnot, and I'm big on teas and on chai, and when I realized I could flavor them up the way I want to, and that, like, you know, because people get coffee, put all types of stuff in it. I was like, well, if I get a tea or a chai, I want to mix it up. So I've done lavender here, lavender and vanilla. That's good. That mix up
sleepy?
is good. What's that?
No, did you get sleepy?
No, actually, you know what makes me sleepy? Because I don't
coffee and
you don't know this. I've never been drunk.
okay.
Never ever been drunk. Never wanted to be. And so I will have like a glass of wine or something like that. And Moscato I love because I'm a child and it tastes like juice. It makes me sleepy. Like I'll be like half, maybe like say 3/4 of a glass through, and I start to like nod off a little bit. I get a little sleepy.
You know, I think coffee is the most amazing thing on earth. You know, when I started in this business, gosh, it's been over 20 years now, a little over 20 years now.
You have to drink something, yeah.
When I was an intern with the Trailblazers, you know, being in the Northwest, and that company that's out there right now, that they, you know, that started out there, and I was just all over it. That was my thing every day, you know, because we're moving and shaking and, you know, working guys out, and you have games, you have 40-something games at home, and you got to keep going. And so that was my go-to.
We're not going to glaze over what you just said. You were an intern in the NBA for the Trailblazers. So, and I want to tell you two things because I have no idea why the other one happened, but I have a strong faith. This is my God was doing something because I had some vivid dreams last night. I'm not kidding with you, hand to God. I had a dream last night, and I was walking, and there was a mat on the floor, and it was all black, and it was like grooved in, and I looked down at it, and it was a Portland Trailblazer. So it must have been God saying, ask about the Trailblazers.
There you go. It's that pinwheel getting to you.
Also, I guess you can call me a Trailblazer fan of history because I am a Damon Stoudemire fan. And when Damon left left Toronto and went to the Blazers, I had to migrate. I've always been a Toronto fan. I always will be. That team never left me. So I was a Toronto fan and a Damon fan, and wherever Damon went, I was with him. And he was with the Blazers and had an opportunity to win an NBA championship, if not for the dang Los Angeles Lakers and all that. Brian Grant, he had switched sides too at one point, but Karl Malone was there. When Brian Grant was on the Blazers, Karl Malone elbowed him in the face repeatedly to the point where, I don't know if you remember this, they gave Band-Aids to the fans when they came in and everybody wore them. So what years were you there?
So I was an intern in 99.
Okay.
And so I was an intern in 99. I left and went to UNLV. Went back to Portland. Actually started back with the WNBA team. They needed a strength coach for WNBA. You know, UNLV, I was the men's basketball and tennis strength coach there. And so I went back there, what I thought was going to be for the summer.
Yeah.
Got involved with the Trailblazers again because they shared a facility. And, you know, pretty much didn't go away. I was the dinner guest that never went away. And so, but I parlayed that into a lot of things and a lot of opportunities, and in a way that's gotten me here. But those years were crazy.
Yeah.
So you talk about that game where the Trailblazers were up 20. That's the day I pretty much got hired to go back. So
Really?
I was in Las Vegas.
So you're there with Damon,
I was.
Rasheed Wallace, Brian Grant, all
yep,
those guys.
Yep, BG. Yeah, those guys were. It was amazing. They, I have in my office, I have a Rasheed Wallace Trailblazers lunchbox.
You do?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Coach Jack, Coach Felicia Leggett. Jack loves the lunchbox and the
That's
go
awesome.
to work, the blue collar.
Rasheed
whatever.
Wallace.
So I brought back my lunchbox, just for her, just to show that I'm with you.
Yeah, that's incredible. So I want to get into much more of that here with Ryan Cabiles, Director of Strength and Conditioning for Syracuse Orange Men's Basketball. We're on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Of course, we're with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets life. We are with you worldwide. You can be here on the Central and Upstate New York, East Coast, West Coast, the Midwest, and of course around the globe. YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. WakeUpCallDT.com, which is our main website. You can check everything out there and subscribe for free. And of course, you can go to Facebook.com /LiveNowDT. Before we get into anything else, we got a message came in from Rex. Good morning, Ryan. Best regards to a great strength and conditioning professional.
Oh, one of my favorites.
A critical piece of sport performance, faster, stronger, higher. And Rex has been on the show before. So,
Great.
what do you want to say to Rex?
Rex is amazing. Rex is he's a mainstay ever since. He's been a great supporter of what I do over the years, and we recently connected. His grandson is getting into strength and conditioning, so he's able to spend a day with me and kind of see what a day in the life was. Every day is going to be different, but it was a great day because he was able to, Rex was able to reconnect and say hello to Coach. Drew was able to hang out with me and kind of, for me in action, talking about my philosophy and all that. And so, great day. So Rex, love you, Rex, man. It's, thanks for tuning in. This is great.
Yeah, that's awesome to have that and have that love. So I want to go back to the Trailblazers. You started your career with them. Mm-hmm. How did you get the internship?
So I went to school at UNLV. I was an athletic training student.
Okay.
And so I ended up, they had made a change. The athletic trainer from men's basketball, a longtime athletic trainer, had been there since, the Tark days, and he was moving up in administration. They hired a new athletic trainer to replace him, and I was one of the students. I was heading into my final year there. And it was a 2-year program, so I was heading into my final year. And so they needed a student to help them. Yeah. They've never had a student before help, and I was the chosen one. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it's great because Dave Tomchek, has helped me a lot. He gave me a lot of tough love early on, but he really showed me the way, helped me as an athletic trainer, helped me transition into strength and conditioning, because that's basically what he did. What he did in the office, he was with the Atlanta Braves organization.
Yeah.
So he was a roving strength coach and athletic trainer. So I was like, maybe that's something that I could get into too. So kind of a hybrid of things. And so, being with them, finished up there, and then got with the Trailblazers. I was actually a lockout year. So I had been waiting. I had been begging for the internship, which didn't start until January of '99. And so when I got to Portland, it was fantastic. I think we went to the Western Conference Finals that year. So when you talk about Damon, you talk about Brian Grant, Rasheed Wallace, I think Arvydas Sabonis was there too.
Was there. Stacey Ogman was there for a minute.
Mm-hmm. They called it, so at one point there's an article that came out, they called it UNLV North.
Oh, that's cool.
Because Greg was there, Greg Anthony was there, Stacey Ogman.
Oh yeah, Greg Anthony.
Bobby Medina, my mentor, was the strength coach at UNLV for their championship team there. Tim Gergerich, who I consider another mentor, was an assistant coach there. Me, and we had another player I can't recall, but it was crazy. It was awesome because it was, that's one thing we get to the Rebel Red, So it was really nice, and I heard a lot of stories, so it was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, being there, like you said, you had left and you came back. Overall, you're overarching how many years with the Blazers in a span of how long, from '99 to when?
So 99, and so I went. Gosh, I'm getting lost here. We're getting so long ago.
All I need to know is if you can get me in touch with Damon. That's all I need.
I might.
Oh, really?
Actually, it's all right. So my life is crazy.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, and
Because
so
Damon is legitimately, when people are like, "What do I get for you?" and I'm like, "I have everything I need." Damon Stoudemire, Fred Taylor of the Jaguars, like, they're my people. They're like, and Damon, everything. I had a poster of his tattoo. Just
Mighty
like
Mouse?
Mighty Mouse. Just I had a poster
See?
of the tattoo.
Mighty Mouse, yeah.
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 So yeah, go ahead with your
That's
story.
amazing. And so,
How are we gonna make this happen?
oh, here we go. J.R. Ryder was also with us
Yes.
at one point.
Yes, he was.
My man was wild. Yeah, he was great. I had to, music is a nice little tool that we have in strength and conditioning. You could attract the weight room through its music.
Yeah.
And for us,
What'd you have to play for him?
something. So we both grew up in California, the Bay Area,
Yeah.
Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, and so knowing that, it must have been something Tupac.
I was gonna say it's gotta be Pac.
Something Tupac-ish. I was like, hey, let's go get some. Actually, it was probably it was some hip hop dance thing,
Okay.
and we didn't have a breakdancing contest, but we had kind of a pop and lock contest. I was doing some crazy stuff. I just got to get, because these guys, we treat those weight room sessions as practices, and obviously we take them very seriously, and we have to continually get these guys better. It's a really long season, so they have to be consistent in what they do, and that's what I try to teach our guys here is the consistency. And so there was one time I went off, so doing whatever, popping and locking, and he started doing the same thing. I was like, all right, get your tail on the bench press or whatever. It was crazy. So
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You and J.R. Wright are doing a pop and lock routine.
yeah, just for a quick second. It's I'm not embarrassed at all. I think it
love
was
that.
amazing.
I talk about dancing all the time. I said this at the game yesterday. I was at the game, and I respect. There's new moves that you've seen come up over time, and the dance team does this one twist where they pull it back, and I was like, God, I gotta marry a woman that knows how to dance, because I dated a girl who didn't know how to dance, and I said I wish there was a camera on me one time, because she was out there dancing, doing her thing, and I was like this. I was like, no, I can't bring that home. I can't do that. Because to me, it's like being Italian and Hispanic, I have to dance. And people would say to me, because I've never learned, I didn't learn the salsa, I didn't learn any of that stuff, I just do stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So I just do what feels right. And I tell people, at the end of the day, it's all in your hips.
Hey, man, go with the feeling.
If you can't move your hips, we're going to have a problem. So I try to mock weird dance. And I can do this one is a weird one, but I was like, I can't really lose the rhythm. So I was trying to joke about something yesterday, and I was like, I don't know how to do it. But I'll tell you, if we had a dating game for me and a bunch of women walk by, the ones that can't dance, you gotta go. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you love sports. You gotta go.
Yeah, I see something on TV. I started, messing around a little bit, and my daughters are like, Dad, stop. What are you doing?
Can't help it.
Or I'll join in and we'll have fun. They're
When a song comes out, you can't help but yeah, it's funny because it got to the point where my buddy was sitting next to me on press row, and I was looking down, I was typing something. He's like, "Oh, the dance team just did your move."
you have your signature move that you always look. Gosh, that's awesome.
So we got to get back to how do I meet Damon now?
So this is crazy. It's a crazy circle, and so yes, going back to the Trailblazers, things like that. I spent time in Portland. I'm gonna go over my career just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, I ended up at University of Portland. Started there part time. Was doing part time stuff, volunteer stuff with the Trailblazers. That's how I stayed involved with them.
Okay.
And so.
So you went to the University of Portland, and you were still.
Yeah,
involved.
double duty. So I had 4 sports, and we expanded to just the entire university. And Father Bill Beauchamp, who gave me my first opportunity there to be full time, was huge, because I'm not
Bill
sure.
Beauchamp, you said?
Yeah, Bill Beauchamp.
Gave you your first official full time.
Father Bill, he's at Notre Dame now. He came from Notre Dame, became president of the university.
If you're familiar with Notre Dame, folks.
Yes, and I went straight to straight to his office. And I said, I need a full-time job. And he's like, here's my paper. This is what it is. And he's like, okay. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks. And that was it. And so, did that. But
Kept working with
really, it's really trying to, keep my foot in the door with Trailblazers. Kept getting college experience. And so it's actually University of Portland when I was there. I only worked with them a little bit during the off seasons. But it's the 20th anniversary of the women's soccer national championship.
Congratulations.
So they won it in 2002, and so that was awesome. And so now, last night, having the men's soccer national championship was awesome.
Yeah.
And so their staff, those guys, they're amazing, and really happy for that team. I was able to go with our athletic trainer, Mike Mangano, who was with soccer last year, previous years, out to a golf tournament, to help with their program. And so I think every year I have to do that now. my superstitious, but we're doing that every year. But shout out to those guys, to the Syracuse men's soccer team. Amazing stuff. They were fun to watch, and it was, although it was cool, it was quite distracting. At times, because we were really trying to focus on.
Well, and you would hear the fans nothing's going on the court, and then you hear "Wow," because it was right behind, and people would be going nuts. And then I'm thinking, why don't they put it up, put it on the board? But then I said they're probably concerned that the fans are going to be like this. And now that you've talked to me about Jesse off the air and how big of a fan he is, that Jesse might be.
It was great. So So University of Portland did that there. All right, so where am I going with this? So Damon Stodmeyer, he's with the staff at Boston. But at the same time, there's another staff member there that was a student athlete that I worked with at the University of Portland. That's why I had to get to that. His name is Ben Sullivan.
Okay.
So he was on the basketball team there. He was with the Milwaukee Bucks last year. Joined the head coach that went to the Celtics this year. Was no longer there, but joined him, and that's how Damon got there as well. And then one of our former student managers, Matt Reynolds, is actually the special assistant to the head coach, or coach with Brad Stevens. And so it's a weird circle.
Yeah.
It's weird in a sort of way, and I'm just in their world. I'm just not. This is nuts, but that's kind of how we could
make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
Because I've been a fan. I wrote a letter to him when I was a kid, and back when that's all you could do, and I never heard back, and then I grew up always a Damon Stoudemire fan. And in my studio, I have the plaque that I had from when I was a kid that has his rookie card and his picture looking up. I still want, and they're so expensive to this day, but I have a purple original Stoudemire jersey. I want the white one that has the silver lines and the black jagged line down the middle. And they're like on eBay, still $100, $200, something like that. But I had this, and I never had a sneaker of somebody besides. I had like the Shaqs or whatever. But when I got the Damon Stoudemire, when he had his first sneaker come out, I was such a huge fan, and obviously I outgrew them, and I'm looking for them now. How do you get them? And then, of course, there's places in China that are like, oh, we have new ones. And I'm like, this came out when I was 13 years old. So, but there's just something about him. I always took to him, and he's a huge reason why I love the Raptors. Big fan. When I was a kid, I designed my own sneaker, and then I put myself on the Raptors, and I made those pictures and all that. Tortora 21, he was 20. So, I've always had a connection to him being a part of the institution of the Raptors into the NBA. And Katie Kolinsky can tell you how deep my fandom is, that in 2019, there was one person that watched the championship game with me, the one that clinched it, and that was Katie. And we were at the Wildcat Sports Pub, who I love working with out in Cabiles. on 3680 Milton Ave, and so we're out there, and it's getting late. It's getting toward midnight, and I'm watching this game, and I'm like trying not to say anything, and she's sitting there, and I just got like my hand, and I'm like, please, Jesus, please, like, come on. I know you don't have a dog in the race. I'm hoping, like, because I was told my almost my whole life, because I started liking them when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
Why do you like the only team? Because Vancouver left to
Right.
Memphis. So like,
Yep.
why do you like the only team that's not in America? You're American. You're not Canadian. It's not a real basketball team. They only play hockey up there. So I heard all that for 24 years at the
Yep.
time. They win, and I like lost it. And then I'll never forget the bartender. Bless her heart. She wanted to go home that night. And she turned her back to us, lowered the volume,
Right.
and Kawhi doesn't speak. And he
Of
was
course.
finally talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I just want to hear what he has to say. And I have to live in this moment. I got to live in the confetti. I got to watch
sure.
it for as long as possible.
Got to.
Right? And she shut the TV off. And I looked at Katie. I was like, I'm going to lose my mind. But she, like, I tell her, you will always be a part. I said, there's things that are very important to me. One day, the birth of my child.
Right.
There's these moments. I said, birth of my child, watching the Raptors win a championship. And I said, Katie, you were there for that. So, but one of the greatest moments of my life, paid off for being a fan. Still waiting for my apology letters, my chocolates, roses,
Yeah, no
all
question.
that. But yeah, Damon, I would love to sit down with, because to me, he is a huge piece of why I mean, I grew up playing basketball, and I mean, I would wear his jersey anywhere and everywhere, and I still have it to this day. So, like, he inspired me and doesn't even know that he did. We gotta make it happen.
Let's see. Let's see.
Gotta make
We're
it.
not gonna. Oh, well, yeah. Shoot. Yeah. Okay. O'Shea. Let's see if it's in here. It
Can we
could
shout
be.
out O'Shea too?
There you go. That's the one. Let me see if that works.
Okay.
Because I haven't. I actually asked for. I had something, and if I still have this at home,
Okay.
because I used to call. What was his nickname? Do you remember what his nickname was?
Mighty Mouse.
Outside of Mighty Mouse.
Outside of Mighty Mouse?
Yeah.
Let me think.
Playing guessing game here, folks.
Give me a hint.
Okay, it's similar to a Brooklyn rapper.
Something about Brooklyn rapper. What was he called? I always knew Mighty Mouse, but I feel like there was another one. I can't think of it.
And I might have an old wristband.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What was? Oh my lord! What did it start with?
Well, this rapper
Yeah.
goes by two different names, but if it were to have one name, it would start with a B.
They didn't call him Biggie.
Biggie.
They called him Biggie.
Yeah. I don't know where it came from. I never asked. I remember. Yeah.
They call him Biggie Smalls. Because he was.
Maybe
like,
it was Biggie Smalls,
Because
or
he
maybe it
was
was just
what,
Biggie,
five,
but
he's
they called.
5'10"?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know why.
I didn't know
But
they called him Biggie.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. I like Biggie. More Money, More Problems, still one of my favorites. One of my favorites. Throw the rollies in the sky. Yeah, I remember that.
Wave them side to side.
Yeah, and then the Mace. Mace was my favorite rapper growing up. Mace and LL Cool J.
I am a Meek Mill.
You're a Meek
guy.
Mill fan?
Yeah, it's
You
ever since-
don't want to know what I called him when he was fighting with Drake, because I like Drake.
Yeah.
I called him Weak Mill. I'm sorry.
Oh,
but
please.
I like Meek. Not Meek, don't come after me. I like Meek. I didn't realize that I liked Meek until I was listening to my Pandora, and Meek started popping up, and I was like, dang, I like some Meek Mill songs. There's some. I love
Sure.
Monster.
Yeah.
That's the song I like.
It's,
Turn my tuna into lobster.
yes.
Yeah. Meek's got some good stuff, but see, my thing with Drake is we're both born in October, both Toronto Raptor fans.
Ah, there you go.
You know, there's a lot of like some, and then he has the October's very own line, which I think is awesome because it's like I'm wearing my stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, big fan of Drake, and I believe for Christmas, my aunt, because I know one of my gifts, got me a customized old Raptor with a full Raptor,
Yeah.
but it's black and gold. So it's an OVO jersey,
yeah.
but looks like the original
Oh,
jerseys
nice.
that Damon wore.
Yeah.
Gold and black, Tortora 21 on the back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man,
I spent a lot of money with Mitchell and Ness. A lot of hats up there.
going back to the Meek Mill, just to let you know, let everybody know out there that Meek Mill is probably the most played artist
Really?
in the Carmelo Anthony Center weight room.
Okay. Okay.
Since he started. I can't say since 2009 because I think he came about in 2011 with Dion Waiters, and we had him here for whatever the Orange Badness, and so that's when
Okay.
I became a big fan.
So you became a Meek Mill fan when he came
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. They just.
Do you have a favorite Meek song? Monster pops up on my thing all the time. That's
I'm a boss.
okay. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. He's got some good stuff. He really does. Do you dislike Drake
No.
because of Meek? Okay.
No, not at all. He was up there for a while, but he had his certain points from whatever 2008 to whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe 2016, but Meek has been there for a while.
I'll never forget. There's a bunch of Drake lines. Fresh pant. What is that? Sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on. That's when you're the prettiest. I hope you don't take it wrong. That I love that line, and I also like this one. This was the other reason why I have a connection to Drake. He when he was in the song "I Invented Sex" by that was by oh my lord, it was by oh my god. Why am I forgetting him? I'm thinking about him right now, and I can't remember his name. It was Drake and he's the guy that always made Trey songs, and so he was in that. And he says, it's a celebration, clap, clap, bravo, lobster and shrimp and a glass of Moscato. And I was like, wait, he likes Moscato? That's great. So, yeah, no, but I listen to all types of music. But
Yes.
if I want to get hype, like if I want to get in it, like if put it to you like this, and I don't think you know this either, but stand-up comedy means a lot to me, and I love interjecting comedy into my world.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been asked for a long time, like, when are you just going to get up on stage and just do it?
Yeah.
The music that I want when I go up on, like,
Your
it's going to
entrance
change.
song, yeah.
But I will tell you this, when I play in the Dome someday and I sell that thing out,
Right.
I want Put On by Young Jeezy.
There you go.
Yeah, because I
heard
put
it
on
here.
for my city. That I will, because coming into the Dome, feeling that, hearing that, I'll lose it. I'll lose it when I,
Isn't the Dome amazing?
it is.
You know that
You just jump right over my
Yeah, I
stand-up
know.
comedy in the Dome.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking of the Dome. But when you say the Dome, and it's you think about it, it's an amazing place.
It is.
You could never take that for granted, even though the changes over the years. With the the remodeling and the new construction that they've been having, and creating traffic in the summertime. But it's every time we walk from the locker room out into the open area, to the basketball court, it's always an experience.
Yeah.
And I could say that, like, because your view is blocked until you get to that certain point where you step out and there's the court and there's the Dome, and it's amazing. It's I wish I could capture that. I tried to take a video, like, it's not the same. You walk out there and every time, and I hope our student athletes feel that, that have been here over the years. Every time you step out, onto that court, into the Dome, there's a sense of pride that you have that this is our house, this is the Loud House, and we're going to take care of it. And so, I'm going on my passion speech right now.
No, it's good.
But this is how I mean.
I love it.
It's Syracuse, man. I never thought that I would be here. We talk about my time in Portland, we talk about my time in Las Vegas, talking about time, Trailblazers and things like that, and coming here and going on year 16. It's nuts.
Yeah.
We never would have thought that this would be, the place. And both of my children were born here, and we love it. So, again, that feeling when you step on that court, you better have that shield up to protect this place. And so, we'll keep pushing forward, keep getting stronger, keep getting faster, keep jumping higher. Rex Trowbridge.
Yes.
Thank you. Shout out again.
I love what you just said, because I had a moment this season where it was at the end of the game, and I was walking out from the corner, and as I was coming out, I looked into the tunnel where the visiting team comes out, and I literally looked there, and I looked up at the Dome, and I could feel it right. I got chills on my shoulders right now. I felt like I'm gonna come out of this tunnel one day, and this is gonna be my show.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be looking up at this place, and I felt that, and I said to my buddy Isaac, Isaac, I was like, I know I'm gonna do this, and I can feel it. Like I can feel that pride, the shield, the protection, the love. This is my city, and that like in my heart. And I stood right in front of the tunnel, and I saw myself walking out and looking up. Like you said, you don't see it till you see it. And I just looked up, and I was like, enjoy. Like that moment's gonna be incredible. And then I had another moment a couple of years ago where I was sitting on press row, and you're like typing and doing this stuff and whatever, and I said like, don't. I looked up, I think it was pre-COVID, and I said, Daniel, you are spoiled. Like, of all the places that God could have put you, you ended up back home. I was living in Pennsylvania. I've been down in Florida, worked at Disney, worked at a bunch of ESPN affiliates, living by Orlando, and I just looked up and said, he could have put me in any city, with any team, any arena, and this is like the arena for college basketball and so many other things. And I was like, I kept saying to myself while I was looking around, I'm like, no, who gets this? I've been to Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games where they've said congratulations in the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. You're part of a sellout crowd. It was 19,000. I was like, we get 19 for Binghamton, 20 for Binghamton. In a game that's like 5 games into the season, we get, an Interstate 81 game like that that's not even a conference game. And, and I'm just like, I feel those moments, and I remember looking around at the crowd going, like, of all the places, I get to be with a Hall of Fame coach. I've gotten to talk to him God knows how many times. I get to see all these players come through. I've interviewed Carmelo and Hakeem and Josh Pace and Jerry McNamara, these champions that won for my city a year that I picked them. And, I did. I looked up and I said, please, Daniel, do not ever take for granted the fact that not only are you doing what you love and loving what you do, but you're doing it here in a place that looks like we're having, like, I mean, it's like if Bruce Springsteen had a concert every day. I mean, it's just this arena, that show, and it's only gotten better. And I call it the roller coaster around the top. I love that, getting lit up and all that, but there's something about, and I still feel that way, 37 years old, fly all over the place. As I'm coming into Syracuse, I looked out the window and I saw it, and I just smiled, and I was like, God, I can't wait to touch down and get after it. I can't wait to be home. People are like, amazing. Why? And I'm like, because it's just, you either get it or you don't. And I love my home.
When you said Bruce Springsteen, you know what popped into my head?
What?
Born to Run. Just the start of it, just the intro.
Yeah.
And for real, it's like, it's just those things. And isn't that Coach comes out to that song, right, or something?
Yeah, I think he's a Springsteen fan.
Yeah, for sure. There was one time I heard about that, and so I put some Springsteen on, and he does his little thing, weird stuff. But
did Coach give a little dance?
No, not at all.
Has he ever danced?
Just a little.
Has he ever danced in the locker room?
I've never seen him at all. No.
Never did?
I don't think so. There could have been one time. I just don't recall, but I don't know.
I feel like Coach could do a little head bob, do a little thing, break out a little bit.
I haven't seen it.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think.
Do a little robot for us. Do a little.
The robot would be amazing. I think there's any dance that we would have him do, I think it would be the robot.
I think the robot, because
robot's one of my favorites.
Dabo Sweeney does the dab, and it makes sense, right?
Sure.
There's certain people that it makes sense to do. I think Mac Brown kind of gets after. Roy Williams has danced before.
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever seen Coach K dance. I think I'd be terrified that I would think something bad happened to someone.
That's not...
He kind of looks like a mob boss. Like if a mob boss started dancing. And I remember one time, like he was so, because like Coach K and Boeheim, like they got a way about them. Like they're gonna try to shake the room sometimes, right? And Coach K, it was funny because like you grow up in Syracuse, and even before Syracuse was in the ACC, like you don't like Duke. Like so many people don't like Duke. And I remember I interviewed Coach K, and he was so nice, and I was right in front of him, and he was sitting with his sweatpants on doing his thing, in his like the Duke jumpsuit, and he was so nice, and I walked out of the room and I call one of my buddies and I go, do I like Duke right now? Like, because I respect Coach K, but it's like getting to talk with him over the years, I enjoyed it. But he's very different than Roy Williams, and I mean, they're just all different people.
Yeah.
But it's. I don't think I could. I think I would put my money on Boeheim dancing before Coach K.
Probably.
I can't see Coach K doing it.
No, not at all.
I feel like you turn some music on, you
K.
turn some Springsteen on for him, and he would be like, "Thank you, Ryan." That's it. If you even got a "Thank you, Ryan," it,
Maybe.
yeah,
Maybe a nod. Here
maybe
or
a
there.
nod.
Something
But-
like that.
So we've talked about so many things. There's so many things to get into. Strength and conditioning. We talked about music. Damon Stoudemire. What it feels like to be in the dome. Y'all should know this, appreciate it, love it. We are spoiled beyond spoiled. Okay, there's some people's Division I gyms that look like high school gyms. I mean, there's people don't get it. You got to understand where you are and how when Syracuse I think has like every record. Right? It's like we beat our record all the time. Oh,
Yeah.
at 30,000, 34,000, 35,000. I remember the games when the blue curtain used to be up, and they used to put fans at Georgetown games in the corner behind the curtain, and that person couldn't see a dang thing. They couldn't
Right.
even see the screen, and they're there cheering, and I'm like, I remember all of that. I remember taking a picture with Roosevelt Bowie, who's a good friend now, and
Oh, Rosie's my guy. Love Rosie.
he was running the basketball thing, and I paid $6, and you had to hit at least two.
Yeah.
And I made like 2 or 3 or whatever it was, and I took a picture with him. And I still to this day, it just popped up I think last year, and he's like 3 of me. And
Yes.
and I said Rosie, it's so unfortunate this height disadvantage you took in this picture. And I'll never forget how tiny I look. I look like I could be his baby.
Right.
Like a newborn.
Yeah.
'Cause he's
sometimes
so-
I'll get hugs from him,
Yeah.
and my feet will dangle.
Yeah. That's
Good
the
to see
thing.
you too.
I told Jeremy Grant, because when he came back for one of the games, one of the exhibition games, he was like, Dan, and he went to get up, and I came up to his hip. And I said to Jeremy, Jeremy, I love you. From here on out, you sit down when you talk to me. You don't stand up.
Another current Blazer,
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant.
And then I think, was it Bojanowski or something for Florida State a few years ago, 7'3". He was taller than me sitting down. He
I was
had like a
telling
little
Stu.
bit of hair on me sitting down.
So, we do our stretches, our pregame stretches, things like that. And,
Yeah.
Quadir was with Mike, our trainer. I was stretching Judah, and, they're watching, they're just laying there watching Munir. I was like, man, they're saying he has this really long wingspan. I said, you know what, guys? I tell you what. If he were to do a side plank with his arm raised in the air, it'd probably be my height. That's how long his wingspan is, and they're like, no way. I said, we'll see one day, maybe today or tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll see. But
when he blocks a shot and you see his arm extended, it looks like a full-bodied person. Just his arm.
I'm thinking of a cartoon. What was the cartoon that the guy?
Inspector Gadget?
Yeah. Just because it just keeps going.
This is so big. He's huge. Munir Hema, much love. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. We're here at Cafe Kubal. Wake Up Call is live for you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, every single month we come out to Cafe Kubal. We're always in the Cafe Kubal studios, and we come out to Cafe Kubal. There are 5 locations in your community. Here in Central and Upstate New York, we are on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius in a double-decker cafe. We got the upstairs studio, I like to call it. Nice dig as we get to watch the beautiful sunshine.
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
God put out the blue sky today. No clouds,
Nope.
no snow. This was all for Ryan Cabiles. It wasn't for me. It's just for Ryan, because this is Ryan's first interview ever. So God made sure it was sunny and nice, so Ryan had no excuses to not come.
None.
But he was at the Mellow early. I mean, this man is always working, doing his thing. We will talk more with Ryan right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in just a moment.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Cabiles, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Cabiles, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on site, on location here at Cafe Kubal on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. Very happy to be here with you where sports meets that thing called life. And of course, Cafe Kubal, our studio partner, exclusive studio partner, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, where we are, as well as on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-thru, and in Syracuse right by the Dome on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, and 401 South Salina Street. And of course, you're with us on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and of course on WakeUpCallDT.com. Once the shows go live, you can check us out in the archive, including my one-on-one conversations on the recruiting trail with a bunch of potential hopeful. They've committed to Syracuse verbally, and we have the early signing period coming up. So you can go there right now and hear from defensive lineman Jalil Smith. You can also hear from David Clement, tight end, and you can hear from quarterback Lenora Sellers on their thoughts on Syracuse post Coach Anai and Coach White leaving. And you can get over 1,600 episodes, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, and more. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. You can also ask your Alexa and Google Home devices to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call, and they will do that as well, which was pretty crazy because I didn't know it until I knew it, and that was pretty interesting. So,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So going back to comedy, do you have a favorite comedian or a comedian that you say would pattern yourself after?
I think that it's a good question. I have a lot of comedians I like. It's crazy. My one bucket list of things to do that I'm almost completely done with at 37 is the comedians I wanted to meet, or I wanted to see. So I've seen Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Charlie Murphy, rest in peace, Joe Coy. I love Joe Coy.
Joe Coy, okay.
Joe Coy.
Joe Coy. So, I'm Filipino.
Yeah.
Filipino guy.
Yeah, I was going to get into it with you.
Yeah.
Did you see Easter Sunday, the movie?
You know what? I didn't see Easter Sunday.
Easter
I
Sunday.
saw one of his. I can't remember. I think he has 3 Netflix specials out now. Maybe one of the first ones.
Live from Seattle was one of the ones.
Live from Seattle. And there was one when he was in Hawaii, maybe. I think it was that one. And a friend of mine had sent me had DM'd me and said, hey, or check this out. And it was just funny. I was like, let me check this guy out. And it had to be maybe about 11 p.m. He was on the West Coast, and 11 p.m. And so I started watching it.
Yeah.
My iPad, all of a sudden, like, I couldn't help myself. I was laughing so hard. I didn't want to wake my wife. I had to leave the room. It was crazy. It's because it is what it is. And
What
it
did
was
he
hilarious
say?
because I can identify with a lot of the things that
He said he
was
goes
talking
Filipinos.
about.
He's like we're Mexican.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
yeah, it's crazy, and you know, obviously, you know, growing up in California is, you know, it's a very high population, but
Yeah.
it was hilarious. So yeah, I want to let you know that. But when you mentioned that, it just, you know, just,
Yeah.
it popped
Joe
in my
Coy.
head. How
I saw him
I
here.
just laughed.
I saw him. I was invited by a couple when I was dating someone at the time. Her friends were like, "Hey, do you want to come see this guy Joe Coy?" And I didn't know who he was at the time. I have never laughed harder at a show.
Right.
And so yeah, Joe Coy, Jeff Dunham, who has like puppets. I saw him. Who else did I see? Jim
That's my
Gaffigan,
list.
Brian Regan. So I only have a few more on that list. The ones I haven't seen: Tracy Morgan and Wanda Sykes. See, I don't like when people get like crazy political, and she got like really heavy in it, and I was like, okay. But Lewis Black, I do like Lewis Black. I learned most of my politics from him because like he just calls out everything,
Right.
and he doesn't really choose a side. He just talks about stuff. But yeah, I'll go back to Joe Coy. So I was in the Easter Sunday movie, and I'm watching it, and Tiffany Haddish is in it. She plays a police officer,
Right.
and I call her the female Kevin Hart, and because there's like certain things that they both do, and so I'm watching her in it, and she's and Joe Coy says her because they used to date. He's like, "Hey, can we get together when I come back in town?" And she's like, "Yeah, all right." And he's like, "Can you keep the uniform on?" And she goes, "What you think, you Lil Wayne or something?" and of course the song, and then first thing in my mind was "Wee," and then I played in my head. I looked around the room in the theater. I was at Movie Tavern. They were all different colors, shapes, sizes, nationalities. Nobody knew the reference except for me, because he, Mrs. Officer. And
I would have been the other guy.
Yeah.
If I was in there.
yeah, so I
That's
was like,
amazing.
I loved that part of it. But no, it was Joe Coy has been fantastic. I had my mom watch. I also like Bill Burr. Bill Burr is him and Chappelle. No political correctness. I love that. And Chappelle to me, when I got to see him in Syracuse, it was a birthday gift to myself, and that was incredible. So, who would I mirror myself? I am always I always work to be original.
Sure.
So I will say that. I will say that I'm honest, like Dave Chappelle, and I have similar stories to Kevin Hart of like being afraid of scary. There was one time my ex-wife, we were at War Memorial, and Kevin Hart came, and this is another birthday gift, and she gave me one of the nicest compliments, and I do appreciate this to this day, and because they say take something good from every relationship. I did not take her cooking. She made yogurt chicken,
Yeah.
and that was a terrifying substance.
my.
But she did say to me after the Kevin Hart show, she put her arms around me, she whispered in my ear, she's like, I feel like I just watched you for an hour and a half, because there was a lot of similar moments,
Yeah.
and so I'll take that with me. And I had a lady down in Charlotte, she was my Uber drivers from Africa, and I was just like, I said, I'm going to test some things on you, I'm just going to let it fly, you're a total stranger. And so I said all this stuff to her. The only thing she didn't laugh at is I made a joke about Camden, New Jersey, but everything else she was good. But yeah, I said, and so she looked, and as she was bringing me back to the hotel, I said, listen, I got to get to Zaxby's, and I don't have a car, obviously. So I said, on the way back to the hotel, can you just like make a pit stop?
Yeah.
So she brought me to Zaxby's, and she looked in her mirror, and she goes, you know what I'm going to call you? She goes, you are my caramel Kevin Hart. So she said, and I was like, I'll take that. So, yeah, I mean, I think honest like Chappelle, not necessarily the same thoughts about everything, but honest like Chappelle and Kevin with similar stories. But I love the challenge of making a room of people laugh. I do enjoy that.
I think there's often times where we use comedy in the weight room just to kind of lighten up the mood and things like that when we're doing stuff, and it's not always robotic, and we're doing things here and there, but I want to make sure our student athletes are in there. We're listening to good music, Meek Mill, and we're listening to good music. we're getting after it, we're having a good time, and they're getting better. And
Yeah.
so, a lot of that, and we talk about maybe some current events or, obviously with things that's going on with school and just trying to help them, navigate their way through this thing called life. Okay. So, I heard Prince there in the background for a little bit. And so it's it's a place where
I'm such
we
a
can
Prince
laugh,
fan
have a
now.
good time. Yeah.
I became more and more of a Prince fan. I will call people up because I do impressions,
Yeah.
and I'll call people up as Prince, and I'll only groan. Like I'll just do like little, and people are like, Dan, what was? But and then one of
Dan, is
my
that you?
one of my buddies, I would actually call and do the Kiss chorus.
Right.
And because you get that like whole like kind of normal voice, that extra time, and then you do like the lip smacking thing, and you got to hit them with that at the end. You got to get high. But my favorite Prince song, I want to see if you remember this. It was called "Most Beautiful Girl in the World."
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
For sure. Did you see the video?
yes. So yeah.
Man.
So that song, my favorite Prince song of all time. And I'll never forget, I was with my parents, we were like right off of Taft Road in North Syracuse, and I said to my mom and dad, I go, who's the girl singing with Prince? And my mom and dad were like sitting there, and my mom goes, is it? And my dad was like, it's not. And my mom goes, I think maybe it's my dad's like, no, that's just him. And because in that song, he's like, baby,
Yeah.
you know how much I love you. You know you mean the world to me. And then all of a sudden you hear this, and I was just like, who is this girl?
What is this?
And but the most because the way he even, like the way he
That was
did
good,
it.
man.
Thank you. I just and I saw actually a Prince cover band. It's called the Prince Experience at the fair
Right.
on Labor Day, and they were awesome. I took a video of it and I tagged them in it, and the band actually got back to me. And I do an entertainment show called Superpowered Pop, so I might try to get him on. But
Yeah.
the guy that is obviously in that lead singer role, he got way into character. He had wooden heels on. He had all this stuff, the dancing. Everybody in the band was great. Like it was I stayed for it was raining. I got underneath the tree and I just watched.
I mean, you always got to appreciate, especially some good music overall. And I don't know if I'm going with it, but you gotta appreciate that. I would living in Las Vegas, so in a weird way, like it's all way back when I was there, but across from our athletics complex was the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah.
And it was brand new, and so we would go in there and look around, and they would have the memorabilia, and then front and center was Prince's purple outfit, and I'm looking at that thing, and I was like,
Break the glass.
yeah, I was like,
it.
dude, I was like, how big was Prince? Because it was like this, and so,
He's so
but
tiny.
it was amazing. I think so. Purple Rain was probably one of my.
I have that vinyl. I will put my vinyl collection up against anybody's vinyl. By the way, Michael Jackson, not everybody picks Thriller. My favorite album, I want to see if you know this.
I'll say it.
Okay, you tell me another album you think that he made, let's say 80s, let's say 90s, probably around the 90s.
I lose track, but go ahead.
But he made this album, and the cover is a circus with just his eyes. To me, it is the greatest Michael Jackson album of all time, and I have it on vinyl. I have that and Thriller.
What was that called?
My favorite song is okay, and there's a song on there that you should play to hype guys up in the room, in the weight room, which is called Jam.
Oh, that's with Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan, right? Is that he made the video with Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah, it might have been the Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Jam.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs. Keep it in the closet is in that song. So the album is dangerous.
I tell you, my first album that I ever bought was Michael Jackson, Off the Wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that from my memory. It could have been Kiss Alive 2.
Okay.
Could have been Kiss Alive 2, but Off the Wall is something I remember. I said, Michael Jackson, and they had you open it up, you take the wrapper off, and you open it, and and they had like full body with the glowing socks and stuff like that. But I think from beginning to, like for me, from beginning to end, Off the Wall is probably pretty good.
My mom, when I was 10 years old, bought me Mr. Smith, the tape by LL Cool J, which is just him like this. And
Is that Mama Said Knock You Out? Is that one?
no, I don't think it was that. So it was the one that had Doing It.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm at 10 years old. I memorized this, like I memorize songs, and like I'll hear something and just sing it and rap whatever, R&B, whatever it is. And so I would like memorize songs, memorize like lines from movies and TV shows. And so I'm listening to Mr. Smith's, I'm listening to the album, Doing It's my favorite song on there. I'm singing it, and then I watch the video at my grandma's house, and I go, Mom, why is he eating an apple watching a girl through a window? And I never understood why he chose an apple. And my mom had no idea that at 10, LL Cool J was teaching me all kinds of stuff. I was like, why'd you let me listen to this? You know what I mean? And I still remember it. And that song, to this day at 37, when it comes on and I'm driving in the car, I'm like, even for me, because I got some dirty sense of humor, I was like, this is dirty. Like, you know, I was like, LL Cool J, he was nasty. Yeah. And there's a song he made later on where one of the lines in it is he's talking about, like, they made love in a jacuzzi full of milky cereal. And I was like, and all I could think about is like soft Cheerios.
Right.
And I was like, why would you make love
Crunch
inside
berries.
of Cheerios?
Yeah.
But, you know, to each their own.
Ladies love Cool J.
They do. Gene said Syracuse is lucky to have Ryan. I met him years ago when our kids were in daycare. Now they're in high school.
Gene, that's crazy. Yes.
And then
they are.
Enrique Cruz's dad said, good morning, brother. Good morning to you. Kevin said, a great interview. Say hello to Ryan for me. We met a couple of years ago. All the best.
And I think when you go back to all that stuff, and when we talk about that entrance into the dome where you're walking out onto the court, it's not just that. It's everything that comes with it. You know, you got Gene, you know, Rex, you know, and all the alumni and that come back. And you know, one thing about it's hard. I think if you ask a student athlete, a former student athlete, to describe what this is, what is Syracuse basketball,
yeah,
I think it'd be really hard for them to really explain.
Yeah.
But they could say one word, and it's family. And Coach Boeheim, Julie Boeheim, they've created this family atmosphere for all of us, and we're all in it. You know, we're all in this world, and it's been amazing. Again, going back, 15 years, through this, since before our children were born. And so, my wife and I talk about that. Like, gosh, this is crazy. But the one word that we try to describe is just family.
Yeah.
And so it's that's cool to see that. And thank you all for tuning in for this. So this is nice. Yeah. Great stuff there.
A man that deserves it, and you know what the thing is, and I've never told you this, but in my world, and in your world, and in any world of entertainment, let's call it, there's I know coaches and players get critiqued, but I never knew that it was like everybody, like broadcasters and just everything. And it's like instantaneous, right? Troy Aikman's doing a game, and it's like on Twitter, it's like people are responding to Troy Aikman and something he said, and Tony Romo, and I'm just like, my lord. But you see this stuff, and two things I want to say. I always talk about, you bring it up, the Tom Brady thing, man in the arena. I always think about life as an arena. If there's 70,000 seats, or let's take the dome. So there's 50,000 seats in the dome, right? There's, at any given time on a basketball court, there's 10 players. 50,000 people, let's say we fill it out. So let's say we go back to the last record, 35 plus. So 35,000 people there, 10 people on the floor. That to me is life. 10 people chase their dreams. 10 people are getting after. Small percentage of people are going after their dreams, doing it. Everybody else is commenting on those people. Yeah. Right? And
in today's world, it's so instantaneous. And I think what people, you and I, have to remember, and everybody out here watching, listening, has to remember, is you have a choice. You can either be the person in the arena, or you can be the person watching. And if you're the person watching that can do it better than them, then come down and do it, right? Take the microphone, do it, get the basketball, do it, go get in the strength and conditioning program and start working guys out and ladies out and whatnot. But my thing is, that's what I always remind myself is, 35,000 people in a room, Dan, somebody's going to have a pretty crappy opinion of you, but you're on the floor. Like, you're shooting, you're playing, and you always wonder if people appreciate you and if they know you for who you are and what you're trying to do. And I never said this to you, but coming into that room, try to build a relationship with Jim Boeheim over a decade, with Adrian, with Alan, with Jerry, with other guys that have come through, and with the players, of course. And you always hope that guys get it. And as people cycle in and out, you hope the new people get it too. And because I'll talk to anybody. I don't care if you played 5 minutes or you were, a champion on the team. And you see those things come through. Like with Jesse, I always go up to Jesse. He smiles, he's like, "What's up, man?"
Yeah.
And Joe, last night, we were finishing up interviews. I didn't get over to him, and I was like, "Joe," and he's like, "My man." And it's those things where it goes beyond being a broadcaster, but you never know if you're affecting anybody in a positive way. You just hope you are. And you came up to me one day years ago, and you said, hey Dan, great stuff, like, love your stuff, great to see you. You shook my hand. And I didn't even know that you knew me, and I didn't even know why you would know me. And I want to tell you that moments like that, on days like that, you have no idea how I came into the arena, how I felt that day, and you shaking my hand and just knowing my name and knowing who I was, it made me feel like I was doing something good in this world, and I will never forget that, Ryan. Never forget
Thank
that.
you for telling me that.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. You're one of the people I respect the most, and because you did something for me that you let me know that something was getting through. So it means a lot, and I don't even know how you came upon anything. I don't even know how you did.
I have my ways.
You have your ways, but yeah, and whenever I go into the locker room, if we see each other, it's always that. It's just like a quick wink and fist bump, and little things like that go a long way. So, I know you've touched a lot of lives, but thank you for what you've done for me.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And you talk about family, and I go off of that, right?
Yeah.
It's different to support Syracuse because this is my city, and whether you were born here or you come here, you're part of my people, you're part of my community. So I want to see everybody succeed and eat, and it hits different when something happens here for the people here, and you talk about family, and I'd love to get your thoughts about, because not every coach is like this, but Jim Boeheim's staff, former Syracuse players, and when former Syracuse guys want to come to games, Gene Waldron, John Wallace, Derek Coleman, Billy Owens, right? Come on, when Pearl was alive, bless him in heaven, when Hakeem, Carmelo, when guys want to come back, it's just come on, and I love that Sonny Spira, he's always letting the door just stay open. So I'd love to get your thoughts on Jim Boeheim and how you see him interact with former players. And I don't want to leave this guy out, Queth Dwayne, who just came back. So.
Oh, Queth, man. I didn't get a chance to say hello to him. I came on a little bit after, he left, I think a year or two. Same thing with Jerry.
Yeah.
No, there's this interaction with coaches. It's very minimal, and I'm not saying that because we don't speak. It's just relaying information or things like that. If I need advice on something, or if someone needs a little bit to get a little bit of something extra, then I know about it. But then I think it's not just him; it's he and his wife.
Yeah.
It's not. It's that team right there that helps our entire team, our team of families. And so, when we're at his house for Thanksgiving, and Coach is sitting in this chair, and you got kids, ranging ages from 4 years old up to, you see the oldest now is 17.
Yeah.
And those young children have been with us for a long time, and you could kind of see, and you know, I take these things into account where he's just sitting in his chair, but he can see it all, and you know, he's just laughing, having a good time, you know what's going on, dog's on his lap, just chilling out. But you know, I think that's his joy right there, seeing what, you know, just seeing us and just, you know, just hanging out. And so it's again, it's hard to describe what that is, and it just still comes back to that word, you know, family. Yeah. And so he's been great to us over the years, and continues to be. So it's just plain and simple.
How would you describe him? Because so many people, he's one of the people on this planet that could probably say that almost everyone has an opinion about him. And my opinion on Jim, I've been broadcasting for over 19 years, and I've interviewed him for probably 10, or over 10, or somewhere around there. We've talked in his office, him and I.
Sure.
We've talked on the court alone, and then obviously press conferences and stuff. I would describe Jim as somebody who knows what he's talking about. I would describe him as somebody who cares. I would describe him as someone who vehemently will defend the people that matter to him. And I say this, I've said it a million times, I don't always agree with him with some of the things he does or a scheme he puts out there or whatever. I don't always agree with him, but I respect him.
Yeah.
And I just find him to be someone who I think is so different than what people think.
Yeah.
I think he has a sense of humor. I think, you know, and so I'd love for you to describe him because you spent so much quality time.
Oh boy. I think when you see him around his peers, he starts to open up a little bit.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, this is kind of how I interacted with Coach back then. It is very, very minimal. But my mentor, Coach Medina, Dave Tomchak from UNLV, we would all work the Michael Jordan basketball camp.
Yeah.
So this was the fantasy camp.
Okay.
And so you had to be at least 35 years or older. It was at the time anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 to participate for 4 days, which was insane. It was at a Las Vegas hotel. It changed locations between Bally's and Caesars. I think it's made its home in Mirage, but I think it was probably the best place. But you have Hall of Fame coaches there. Michael Jordan brought all these guys from professional to college. Coach Boeheim was one of them, you know. And so, you know, kind of see him every so often and say hi to him, and as with all the other coaches. But you see these guys at the end of this camp, you know, with the campers, you know, in their element, and they're just roasting each other left and right, and it's unbelievable. There's some things that, you know, I can't repeat, but it's hilarious. But you know, that, you know, you could see that sense of humor, you know, within him. But one thing I could say, if I could describe Coach in one word, is loyal. That's it. That's all I could do. That's my best.
I love, and I appreciate that. I love this, and he did it yesterday, and I don't know why, but it always seems to be Saturdays a go-to. But he has like that OG mic drop moment in the press conferences where he'll say something and he'll go, and he'll take his cup and he'll go, "We'll see you Saturday." And you know, and we'll see you Saturday. Takes a sip, and somebody asked him yesterday, like, "What are you looking forward to?" He goes, "I'm looking forward to getting something to eat. I'm hungry." Grabbed his cup, said, "I'll see you Saturday," and left.
There you
Just
go.
walked right away. And then I remember one time he hit the mic, and he said, because there's that one where he fought with the mic, and it's on YouTube and stuff, and he hit the mic a couple of years ago, and he goes, "This time was a mistake." He goes, "I've had my run-in with it last time, and it was different last time." It's
just little things.
he
like
has that dry sense of like if you're paying attention, he'll get you.
Yep.
He'll get you. He'll he'll wait, and he doesn't need to spar with you for 10 rounds, but he'll hit your throat, you know? He'll just snake bite your throat, and you're just like, damn, got him. Yeah. And I feel like I know when it's coming, and I told you this in one of the ones off the air. I know him well enough now I feel like, to know when the earth is shaking and he's about to do something. Because there's one time I looked around the room, I was like, I want to go home. I didn't want to see the attack.
Yeah.
Because it's like somebody just kind of sitting in the water going, the shark is obviously going to bite you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and you know what? And there's times where I'll defend him where, you know, if he gets asked a certain thing, because I feel like a lot of times in the media he gets baited. Somebody wants him to go off.
Right.
And I think he's learned over time that he kind of knows where that's at. So he's gonna buck you a little bit if he needs to. He definitely tells you how he feels.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer in more ways than one.
Yes.
Be able to recognize those situations and, you know, get through that.
He's a rapper who has 15 bars that has never rapped before. That's how I look at it. He's somebody that's like, you know, in the streets. He gets it, you know. And I said something last year, and Jim, if you're watching this or if you have watched this, please don't get mad at this statement. I said he's either going to coach to when his sons graduate, or he's going to coach until he dies in the chair. I said there's only two options. And not like I want him to go anytime soon. Coach, live to be 150, seriously. But I said that. I was like, he's either going to go at like whatever it was, 78, or he's just going to be there like 90 years old, still rocking. Yeah. I see him now, and I've seen him the last couple of years. I see him walking. His sneaker game's always on point, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
But I see him out there, and I see his body moving, and I see like things he's doing, and I'm like, gosh, there's some times where I look at him where I feel like he's getting younger. So how long do you think he's going to coach?
I can't answer that one.
You know what I mean?
I have zero.
But do you
Clue.
agree with me that since he's past Buddy and Jimmy, that it could be forever?
Yeah.
I feel like we could see forever.
Could be. We never know. We really never know.
Well, and he said, "What else am I going to do?"
Yeah.
You know, kind of said the Brett Favre thing, like, "What am I going to do after this? Like, this is what I do."
Yeah. And yes, he is getting stronger every day.
Is he ever in the room with you?
He's got some things that he works on.
Okay, all right. So I want to.
But he is getting better. And then going to Buddy and Jimmy, and I'm just remembering this right now.
Yeah.
So in my office window, I have 3 panes, and so right now a third of it, all across, is filled up with shoes of former players. Now some of these shoes
I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah, some of these shoes are presented to me when I know that they're going to declare. Because there's a story I was talking with Coach Autry the other day, and we were talking about the shoes, and I said, yeah, that's how I found out about so and so. Because he came down, he had a signed pair of shoes. I had no clue what was going on. I was working somebody out.
Yeah.
And I said, is this it? He's like, I'm out. I'm like, all right, man.
So I should just
Thank
get in
you
touch
very
with you and
much.
be like, whose shoes do you have?
It's
right now?
waned over the years. It hasn't. But last pair of shoes that I got, it's funny. Alan Griffin came to the Barclays Center just this last November, and Danny Schwarles, our equipment manager, said, "These are for you." I'm like, "Shoes? What?" He's like, "No, Alan's up there in the crowd. Like he brought these shoes in." So for him to bring shoes to the arena, because it's difficult to get to that arena.
Oh, yeah.
Have these
Barclays
shoes.
not
It's
easy.
like, I told you I was going to bring you shoes. I said, thank you very much. But going back to Buddy, it's I actually have his bubble shoes. So the ones he wore when I guess the Buddy Buckets thing came about. The bubble during the Sweet 16, and which I thought was really awesome. That they're up there all shredded and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, and guys like Elijah is like. He texts like, he able to go do his workouts and stuff. He texts me, hey man, I'm gonna send you some shoes. I'm like, yeah, cool. Thinking it'll come by like a month later, 2 months, after the process or whatever.
Yeah.
Came 3 days later.
I think Elijah's the one that I heard about.
Yeah, Elijah is he's awesome. He came and saw us a little bit over the summer.
Yeah.
But
I said he might end up having one of the best careers professionally that people wouldn't have expected. That's what I had said about him while he was here. He just felt different to me. He came from East Carolina, and we talked on the phone before he had played his first game here, and then obviously we talked through his career. But I just liked that he was he was like almost every position. Like he had something to give everywhere on the floor,
Yeah.
which I really like. And Marek, like the way that he played, I called him the utility belt, and he reminded me of Christoph Anjanat. But and no offense to Christoph, he reminded me of Christoph, but he scored.
Yeah.
Like Marek scored so much. Like Christoph did all these things, never show up in a stat sheet. Marek did that too. But after a while with Marek, I feel like he kind of just knew, and he wore 21, my favorite number. But I just loved his game. I loved his play, and I loved that the first time I talked to him, he didn't know a lot of English words. He didn't say much, and then like talking to him in Boeheim's Army, he's like a road scholar now. Like seeing the evolution of him getting his thoughts into English has been such a cool thing, and people that's underestimated in interviewing and stuff. I get to watch people evolve. When I first talked to Fab Mello, bless him in heaven, I couldn't understand him. And then I met up with him summer league. He was with the Celtics. You know, and guys that I just have seen. Barama and I talk so much, and Barama just got better and better at just getting it out there and speaking. And I'll never forget Barama, because I always go up to somebody. I don't know if you see it, but first time I go up to someone, doesn't matter how many people are there, I put my hand out. I shake their hand. I just say, hey, do you have a minute? And then when I leave, I shake their hand no matter who's there. So I went up to Barama. I said, hey, man, you got a minute? And he said, yeah. And he smiled. He goes, for you? He goes, I always have time for you. He goes, know that. And he's one of my, and I think he was an underestimated guy. I think Barama, if we had a healthy Barama all the time, we would have seen more of it. But that man grew, and I mean, you strength and conditioning wise, I mean, what do you think of Barama from start to finish?
Yeah, he came in, he didn't know what was what, you know, coming in, and you know, he continued to get better. I think the thing with all these, our student athletes, and we try to preach, and I think I might have said this earlier, but it's just a consistency of work that he tried to do, you know, and he did it well. It was unfortunate that, you know, what happened to him, you know, here as far as his injuries and, you know, getting up and down, all that, but he is, he was awesome just to see him grow as a student athlete, as a person, even, you know, the English thing as well. I think that's probably, if I'm right, maybe his third or fourth language, English, you know, something like that. And so, man, yeah, he was awesome to have.
So, strength and conditioning wise, obviously Director of Strength and Conditioning, Syracuse Orange Men's Basketball, Ryan Cabiles, myself, Dan Tortora, on site at Cafe Kubal, our exclusive studio partner. We're out here at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius today for your listening and watching pleasure around the world, and of course here in Central and Upstate New York. Why do you have such a passion for strength and conditioning? What started it for you, and why have you just stuck with it for so long? What energizes you? What amps you up? Like, you literally, I don't know if anybody would say a bad thing about you to me that has worked with you. I just feel like you've garnered respect. So why do you love it, and what keeps you going?
I think it's just the youth and the opportunity for our student athletes to get better, because we get some time with our, you know, our prospects when they come in, you know, during recruiting visits. You know, our athletic trainer, myself, we get an opportunity to talk, you know, with, you know, potential student athletes. And you know, I have my presentation with that. You know, sometimes the recruiting coach will come in and sit on it, and sometimes they won't. But I think it's just an opportunity to help our student athletes grow as young men and young women, and you know, get better in the weight room. We want to be able to have them to have the best performance that they could have on the basketball court, but you know, to help them grow as people. You know, I think one of the things in my job is just having those relationships. Relationships is the key thing into everything. You know, everybody's going to have certain days. You're going to be up, you're going to be down, you're going to be in, out, and around. But, you know, for our student athletes, and, you know, sometimes you have to recognize that, talk them through it. You have to give them tough love when it's needed, or you have to, you know, you're going to be empathetic, you know, at certain times. So you just got to be able to recognize that. So it's you know, what some strength and conditioning coaches, you know, I speak with, we call it what's beyond the sets and the reps. It's the relationships. And so, that mattered to me. And so to be able to meet the student athletes that I've met along the way, starting from my time at UNLV and then going through Portland and going through Trailblazers, David Stoudemire, and having our student athletes here for the last, 15 years, it's just been amazing. I think that's the thing that keeps me going, with that.
And like you said, for a decade and a half, right, that you've been here, having had that experience and looking back on all of it, do you have a proudest moment at Syracuse?
You know what? When it's not necessarily the proudest moment. I just felt right about the situation. I think you have many proud moments when you see maybe a senior graduate and them walking, with their families, to center court and to be celebrated. Obviously nowadays you don't get that too often, but when it does happen, it's all those memories that go through your head when they first stepped on campus, even, meeting them, whatever, and then till their last game in the dome. I mean, that's, that gets to be pretty emotional.
Yeah.
But for me, we went to the Final Four in it was at Washington D.C. We won that Elite Eight game, and I'm looking around and everybody has their families. I'm like, next time this happens, we're going. And so I spoke with my wife, and then when that came about again, went to Chicago. They came to Chicago. At least getting to that point, which was just huge for any program. Just to have them with me, all four of us there, and be on the court and take photos, and I thought that was just the most awesome moment. But again, when you go back to the student athletes and how they grow as an individual, that's probably one of the more prouder moments, because I'm that piece of the puzzle to help with all that stuff.
Well, and I think like what you were saying, it's funny that you said that in Chicago, because started in Detroit, went to Chicago, and then went to Houston. I said to my dad, I was like, you never know when the Final Fours and all this stuff's going to happen, so you go. And I had gone to obviously a bunch of them, and recently, and then 2013 was down in Atlanta. And in 2016, I said to my dad, I was like, you got to come with me. You got to come with me. And he couldn't. He's like, I can't swing Chicago. I got some things to do this week. And I said, Dad, if and when they win in Chicago, I was like, if that happens, if they win in Chicago, you're coming with me to Houston.
Yep.
My dad, who doesn't cry that much, he called me up. I'll never forget, and I just talked about this recently. They were down by the team was down by 15 or 16. I looked down at my computer, and I was looked at my notebook, and I said, it ain't over till it's over. I'll never forget I said that.
Yeah.
And they won. Within 2 minutes, my dad called me. You're obviously down on the court, enjoying that. I'm upstairs looking down. My dad calls me, and he's high-pitched voice, screaming. He's like, we're going to the Final Four! We're going to the Final Four! He's crying. He said some expletives toward Virginia. He was, no offense to Virginia, it was just in the moment, would have been anybody.
Yeah.
And he was just I was like, you coming? And we went to Houston together. And
That's
that
cool,
was
man.
one of the greatest
Yeah.
things. And my dad was sitting off here, and I was on press row, and we got to walk in together. We got to leave through together. And it was just something about knowing that my dad was there with me.
That's cool, man.
And so I can
That's fantastic.
definitely second the fact that you said that the last time, which was 2016, is that what you were talking about when you brought your wife and your kids and got to do that in Houston. And there's nothing like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes back, circle back to the family thing.
Yeah.
My family was able to come on, the Italy trip when we went overseas, and that was great. Maui, in 2013. So, our kids have had unique experiences growing up.
Yeah.
And so we're very, very, grateful for all those opportunities that, that we were able to do that. I mean, Coach could have said, we're just, team only, but he's allowed us to have these moments with our families, and it's been fantastic, man. I can't say anything more about that. It's crazy.
What's it like being on the plane?
With the kids or just in general?
In general.
That's pretty quiet. Our flights aren't that long.
Because I feel like Michael Carter, there's one time that like the game ended at like 9:07,
Right.
and then he's like texted at like 10. He's like back home. I was like, wait a minute, what, did you guys have a different airspace you get to fly through?
Yeah, there's sometimes that
You
I
got-
remember we're the only airplane that flew out of that airport that night. I was like,
Yeah.
how does that happen?
Yeah, you were like Mach 7 or something, like coming through. It's like touchdown. Like
Yeah,
he had put on Instagram like touchdown in Syracuse, and I was just like, this is like a 4-hour flight. You got home in an hour and a half.
You gotta remember too, like at MCW, those were the Big East days
Yeah.
too. So yeah, no, it's crazy, and to see like. And when these student athletes, and I follow most of them on Instagram, some I can't find, but you see these guys with their families now. It's amazing. And
If you talk to Rock about like his son, and you see him like this
Yeah,
big old
for
dude
sure.
that used to block your shots and eat your lunch,
Yeah.
like he will smile and he's like, oh, thanks for asking about
Yeah.
him, and I'm like, you just see
Yeah.
him change, like brighten up, and I didn't know Tyler Ennis. Like multiple babies.
Yeah.
I was like, you got like a fleet of children right now. Like how many? I think does he have 3 now?
I believe so.
So I was talking to Tyler. I go, how many? He's like, I got 3, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and it was at Boeheim's Army. I was like, you're too
Yeah.
young. You're just little.
yeah.
You're just a little guy.
Yeah.
I can't picture him as a dad of one yet because he's got that baby face, right? And then he's like, yeah, man, I was like, wow, good for you, man. That's incredible. And you just see them so happy
Yeah.
to be dads.
Yep.
That's really cool.
That's for sure. When they came back, and I think that was Tyler's first time back in Syracuse for an extended period since he left.
Yeah.
What was that in 2014?
It was
So
last game was the game in Buffalo against Dayton.
Yes. Yes, that one.
Yeah,
And
I will not forget that.
Yeah, and it was, it was really good to see those guys. And when they come back, it's like, yeah, I want to bring my family. I talked to Wes Johnson too. I haven't talked to him recently, but he was like, yeah, I want to bring my kids up. We want to go to camp. We want to do something. And so I was like, yeah, man, come on down. And he's a lot busier now because I think he's with the LA Clippers as an assistant coach, and so that's the great thing about these things. Like a lot of these, obviously we have our staff. They're all Syracuse alum. They all played here, but you have them all out there. Like Jason Hart, is leading the team with the Ignite. You have James Sutherland on that team, and I think Hakeem's an assistant on that team as well. Another former student athlete of mine, Pooh Jeter, which we had at Portland, 39 years old, is still playing for the Ignite. And so it's he's been around the world. He's been in the NBA. He's been in the G League. But I remember he and Jason Hart were close because when I was working the Blazer games, Pooh would be in the back waiting for the team. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, waiting for Jason Hart. I was like, oh yeah, is that the guy that went to Syracuse? That's
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And so full circle, he's playing for him now, and many years later. But it's just great to see just how many of our former student athletes are out there. Rezayan Olaku, I think, is with the Capital City Go-Go, the G League team. So, or the G League. So it's great. Keep the momentum going, boys.
Love the G League because the G League gave me at least 2 players and a coach that won that championship with Toronto.
There you go.
Think about the come up of the guys that were on there, Van Vliet. It was just crazy to see that people didn't give respect to this league, and then you see Nick Nurse and this team that just put it together, worked through the Raptors 905, and turn around and win a championship
for sure.
in the NBA, and did it with no excuses. It wasn't a COVID. It wasn't a bubble year.
Yeah.
It was 2019. Well, not everybody was healthy. You play the people you play.
Yeah,
they didn't
for
have Klay Thompson. You still had Steph Curry.
Yep.
So I don't want to hear it. And and running through the way that they ran through it, like that. that will always live with me. But like you said, it's like you get around these people that you care about and these people that you appreciate, and you see success, and I feel that like whenever I know somebody and they go somewhere and they do something, you could be a janitor, you keep playing basketball, whatever you're doing. Like Cooney, we were talking, and he was in Spain, and I was like, dude, thank you for like still answering my call. Like you're in Spain, you got all this, you have no reason but our connection, and I love that. I love having those moments with these guys, and you get to have these like true heart to heart. I mean, you don't know what happens in a team meal or on a plane. I mean, do you feel like you've been able to have some bonds with people in a moment or two where you feel like they really needed somebody at the time and they just had to have a conversation, you know?
Yeah, and it's just a little moments like that I don't realize at the time. I'm just, trying to help any way I can. But, usually on the plane, everybody's sleeping anyway. So that's the hard part. But, if you have the longer flights, you're there, you're talking to the student athletes.
Who do you sit next to?
I used to sit next to Brad Pike.
Yeah.
Now I sit next to Mike Mangano, our new athletic trainer. So, we got to keep the athletic training.
Are you by any of the players or no?
No, they're in the back just hanging out. Their own space. Plenty of space between all of them. No,
is Boeheim sleeping or is he watching film?
He's typically reading.
Okay,
because I feel like, reading or
he's like watching something or doing something.
He'll read on the way out and he'll watch film on the way back.
So, does he sleep?
Pretty chill. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He sleeps.
Who sleeps? So I think I know the answer to this, but
right.
who sleeps more? Griff, Autry, or Jerry? I feel like I know the answer.
I don't think any of those guys sleep.
Really?
Yeah, I don't notice. Maybe I'm sleeping. I'm the one that's sleeping that I don't notice this stuff.
I feel like I would pick Griff. I'd pick Griff to sleep, maybe sleep and drool a little bit. I feel like he always looks like he came out of some GQ shoot. He always looks that way. And Jerry has just always been that like everyday guy, lunch pal. It's like they all have their own kind of personality.
That's what makes this place great.
Yeah, and Griff to me, and he always rips on my Jaguars. Always. Adrian's nice about it. Griff is sometimes not nice about it, and he's a Giants fan.
Right.
And I always tell him his team plays in New Jersey, so it doesn't count. But,
right.
But do you sleep?
Yeah.
You sleep on the plane?
Yeah, I sleep.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah, I sleep big time.
How nice is the plane?
It's pretty nice. We've been using newer planes this year.
Yeah.
So
does it say anything on it or no?
Nothing Syracuse. I don't know what they're called.
I've never seen it. My mom has. Yeah. She's actually been a part of getting everybody on the plane because she works over at the airlines.
Okay.
So she's actually run through football team, basketball team, and like Floyd Little coming on there being like, hey, so like, awesome. Yeah. But I've never seen it. So how would you describe the plane? Is it like a fancy, nicer seats, good food?
I think now
What's going on?
this year, yeah.
Okay.
The food's good. I mean, you have your stir fry, you have your salads, you have.
I love how you're like the food's good. You have stir fry.
Yeah,
I'm happy
fantastic.
if I get peanuts on the plane.
It's fantastic. We're very spoiled, but shout out to Birdman and his crew. He really, we check in, at the Mellow Center, and then we go in. We go straight to the plane, so it's a really simple process. It's a fast process. Yeah. You're off the bus and you're in. You're going and you're moving. We'll have our fair share of delays here and there, but no, it's been great. I think the planes this year have been really nice.
How are the seats? Are the seats different?
These are newer planes. The only planes I've experienced so far this year.
Other TVs?
Newer planes? No.
Okay.
I have my iPad and I have my iPad Mini and I'll flip it over and I'll hang it on the seat in front of me because it has a little pocket right there.
Oh, nice.
So I'll watch documentaries or
Joe Coy.
Yeah, Joe Coy. Yeah, there's one point I watched it on maybe 3 or 4 trips in a row.
Okay.
And I was just losing it. And I'm just like, you guys got to watch this. If you want to know me, you got to watch this. You will get it.
I wanted to ask you if there was any truth to what he was saying.
There's a lot of truth.
Filipino mom?
Yes, my mom has. I can't count, and my wife and my daughters haven't inherited some purses from her. I know she has a vast shoe collection.
Yeah, the
but
Louis Vuitton hat.
Oh yeah,
like those-
Louis Vuitton. So it's that.
But she's like, I can't leave my,
she doesn't do
go
the
get my
hats
purse
thing.
in the room.
Yeah, she is like, whatever you want, just don't get that one, And it's like, all right. And so,
And the Joseph.
Joseph, yeah, the whole everything, man. It's
The word change, yeah.
and you know what too? We do have our fair share of Cool Whip containers in the plastic.
I did
bin.
too. I did
So,
too.
what Joe Coy has called the Philippine Tupperware. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
Cool
But
Whip, and you know what? My mom
Yeah.
made punch holes. You punch holes, and I was like, my lord! I had
Yeah.
Cool Whip. If I caught a toad, it was
Yeah.
in a Cool Whip.
Yeah,
my
no,
mom always
for
had
sure.
Cool Whip containers.
Yeah.
Always.
Frogs.
I feel
Whatever,
like
yeah.
it's funny. Filipino to Italian to Hispanic, they're so because George Lopez will do stuff about
He's hilarious.
his
Yeah.
heritage. Oh, I saw him too.
Yeah.
And he'll do stuff about his heritage, and I'm from a different country than his family's from. Like that's where my family migrated
Yeah.
from. And I'm listening to him, and my mom doesn't have the Hispanic one. My dad does, and he's describing his mother, and I'm going, oh my god, that's my mom. Like Italian,
Yeah.
Hispanic, like close, because he was talking about how like your mom would grab something, go to the dressing room, and she would like change, but she would really be in there to like beat you. And then and my mom brought me into a dressing room, a fashion bug right one time. And that's the thing, it just smack you on the butt, and it's like, like you think she's trying stuff on, but you got in trouble. And I said to her, I go, Mom, like, you're so much like George Lopez's mom, like so much. And Italian Catholic guilt and Jewish guilt
Right.
is like, I asked my mom, I go, I feel like, and she goes, it's almost the same. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, just wanted
There
to
you
check
go.
with you, Mom. But it's funny because the Tupperware, the cool, when Joe Coy said the Cool Whip thing, I'm like, oh my, I feel like almost every week we had something in a Cool Whip container.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're there. We've gotten fancy over the years, but no, they're there.
And then he
We'll
told that
use
one
them.
story about his sister was dating an African American guy, and his mom had made some comments, and then he's like, Mom, you can't say that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I love fried chicken, and she goes, I told you, Joseph.
Joseph.
I love the Joseph.
Yeah, no, it's all there. The accent, it's amazing. Like,
Is she little?
Like oh yeah.
Because every Filipino
Oh yeah,
woman
yeah,
is like
she's-
4
yeah,
foot
she-
something.
Yeah, no, she's tiny. She's tiny.
Hey, what did he say? Every
She's fiery too,
Filipino
man.
mom will have the same haircut.
Oh, she's got
same
that.
purse.
Yeah, the haircut. Yeah, no, it's true.
Did she want you to be a nurse?
No, she supported me every step
What is
of the
what
way.
did he say? Nurse or a mailman is what he said. That was what
Yeah,
his
or
thing
something
was.
like that. And
Yeah,
yes,
a
you know,
nurse or
where
a
I grew
mailman.
up, that's what you would see.
Yeah. And do you remember the part of like his? Okay, so
My
his
sister-in-law's a nurse. by the
So
way.
there you go.
My cousin, nurse.
Yeah, but what did he say? His dad white, mom Filipino,
Yep.
and he said, "Why'd you marry mom?" And he said, "I love Chinese food," and he was like, "She's Filipino, Dad." And he goes, "Whatever, rice is rice," and he goes, "Rice is
Oh, my
rice,"
goodness.
and all of his comedy, I'm like, I feel like it's rooted, but he's so humble. Like when I met him, I talked to him about his sister that has lupus. And I bought one of the things that had the heart on it for him. And then he was super, super nice. And then I wrote to him on Instagram, and he wrote back to me.
Yeah.
And he honestly seems like a guy who, as big as he is, he appreciates where he came from.
Yeah, no, you could tell. I see some of his interviews, here and there, and yeah.
He seems like someone. He seems like if he was here with us right now, he'd just hang out, just talk.
My face would be frozen because we'd all be yeah.
I love his description because my mom is 4'10", so like I love when he talks about the little mom.
Yeah,
you know,
fiery boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
and the scariest people you'll meet.
Yeah.
I told my mom to this day nobody was more. My dad didn't terrify me. My mom did.
Yeah, same thing.
So we're
Yeah,
gonna
it was
talk.
cool, calm, and collected.
We're gonna talk about the Filipino lifestyle
Oh,
right
God.
after this fast break as we wrap things up on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us. We're inside of Cafe Kubal, 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. We're gonna get to know you a little bit more, Ryan.
Oh my God.
Just a little bit more right after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Cabiles, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Cabiles.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you, fall 2022. And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, on site, on location at Cafe Kubal here on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. We are so happy to be with Cafe Kubal all year round. They are our exclusive studio partner, and so of course we are proud to be with them in our studios and to travel to the many locations: 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, and 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, right here on 343 Fayette Street, Manlius, New York, the Welcome Center to Manlius, where all roads converge, and of course on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location. If you're out of town, and this is a great gift as well, the Holiday Blend is available for a short time only. Go to cafekubal.com and get the Holiday Blend and everything else they have to offer. That's Kubal. Ryan Cabiles, the Director of Strength and Conditioning for Syracuse Orange men's basketball. Myself, Dan Tortora, hanging out here with you today, and we're going to round out today's show by playing Rapid Fire.
Oh boy, here we go.
So, Rapid Fire, for those of you that know it, we've done it for many years, and it can be about literally anything. It's not prepared, so we just talk, which is what we've done this whole show anyways.
Sure.
But it's back and forth. Any question, you have to answer it, and no pressure. We're live to the world.
All right.
So we're going to go back and forth, one for one. We're going to ask each other a few of them here, and you get to ask me the first question.
Oh my goodness. Out of your record collection, what's your favorite album outside of the one that we just spoke of earlier?
Okay. Am I right? Probably Phil Collins' No Jacket Required.
Nice.
I would say that one. Or I would say the Guardians of the Galaxy volumes, because they have all the old music. They have the Ooga Chaka
Oh,
song.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anytime I'm anywhere and I hear that Ooga Chaka, and it's always like a brand. It's like in a coffee shop. You
Hooked
hear
on
it.
a feeling.
Yeah. So I love that. And I would say that I don't have this on vinyl yet. I don't know why. Good Christmas gift, I guess I would say to people. But I love this album, love this story, and have already seen the movie twice, the second one twice. Planning on going to see it probably multiple times. Is Black Panther's first album with Kendrick Lamar, and it's all black,
Yep.
and it just has the Black Panthers like necklace.
Yeah.
That album is awesome.
Is that the dun, 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 dun.
Yes, and they bring
That
it
gets
into
you
the
going.
second one too.
I feel like running into that one.
And they have all the stars and that, and then they have a song by Kendrick Lamar called 10. It's an X, and it starts off, "Are you on 10 yet?" And so that's a good one to run to.
Oh man, I'm gonna.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
you got to
I'm gonna
listen
get
to
on
the Black. See, I was on that album for a long time, and then when Chadwick passed away, it was like selling 10 times as much, and I'm like, what did people not hear this album? Like most of it's Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and Kendrick Lamar is good. I always say he kind of reminds me, when you hear his voice, reminds me of the voice of Kanye. Kind of sounds a little bit like Kanye. By the way, I will say this, and whatever, I'm just talking about music. People don't get weird. But Kanye, I said when I saw the news that him and Kim were breaking up, my first response, I said, "Oh, thank goodness, his music will be good again." And it was. It was, and it has been. And you got to listen to the song called "Cold." "Cold" is a good song. That's a good song by him. And he takes some shots at Kim for sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
It's the only way he does.
The only way Kanye can.
Yeah.
So, all right, yeah, so I would say that my first one for you. Okay, you, Joe Coy, and I get to spend a day together. Where do we go and what do we do?
Oh wow.
I would love it because I love and appreciate you, and I would just love to hear what comes out of his mouth.
Let's see. We're going to San Francisco.
All right. Which was in the movie that.
See, I got to see that. Yeah,
You gotta watch
I
Easter
can't say I'm a
Sunday.
Joe Coy fan.
I
and
want
not
to
watch
ask
the
you
movie.
about the food that his mom made, because there was food. We come from a long line of great cooks in my family, wonderful women. I want to ask you about some of the stuff that was on the smorgasbord, because I haven't seen some of that food, and I want to know.
There's some food
if
I
you've
don't
eaten it.
want to see.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Okay.
Or you want me to explain like what
Well,
she would have?
Yeah.
Or- okay.
Well, let's go first and foremost with what you, Joe Coy, and I would do in San Francisco.
Oh.
And then my 1B would be to describe some of the food. Yeah.
We would just hang out in Chinatown.
All right.
And things that would come about there,
Okay.
because it could be anything. It's
Okay.
wild, but that's probably one of the best Chinatowns in the world.
All right.
San
In
Francisco. Me,
Okay.
you, Joe Coy. Getting
Okay.
after it.
So, what food do you love from Filipino heritage,
food?
and what do you loathe? Because you said there's some stuff you don't want to say.
Oh man, so all right, there's it's kind of a toss-up. There's two. There's a noodle dish. It's almost like it's rice noodles. It's called pancit.
Okay.
And so really delicious. You can make chicken, you can make beef, you can make pork, whatever. So that's a tie with another dish that's actually an appetizer. It's almost like it's an egg roll basically, and that's called.
That's one of the ones I think was in the movie.
Yes. Why am I not?
Because it looked like that, but they were thinner.
Yeah, yeah. I can't even think of the name. What's wrong with me?
I saw.
Yeah,
it.
this on the spot stuff is getting to me right now. But yeah, pancit. There's another one. It's adobo. It's kind of made with vinegar and some garlic and stuff like that. And there's other one that I really can't stand. It's called diniguan, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I was born in Seattle, so my accent isn't as frosty. It's basically chocolate meat.
Chocolate meat?
Yeah, it looks nasty.
Like mincemeat?
I have no
Some
clue, and I
weird-
don't want to know.
Okay.
All I know, it's presented at the table, and I will smell it, and I'll point to it, and I'll look, and I'll say, "That's not me. I'm not eating that." So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I like that. Little look into
Yes.
the world.
Yeah, through Philippine cuisine.
Philippine
But yeah, that's it. Basically, the egg rolls. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm losing it. Egg rolls and the pancit.
Okay.
So the noodle dishes, delicious.
Okay.
Now there used to be lumpia. What's wrong with me? Lumpia, because there used to be a little shop in town. I don't know if it's still there that makes lumpia.
Yeah.
When my sister-in-law, my brother, and my sister-in-law came into town, she taught my daughters how to make it, but made it with fruit. So there's a different name for that. But I don't
So
know
is
what
your
that is.
sister-in-law also Filipino?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So they came down. They wanted to teach my kids some Philippine culture, and then they made some of that and stunk up the whole house. It was amazing, but it was good. It was delicious.
So from the Joe Coy, when he sneezed and he touched the chicken and she called it you eat the booger chicken. So I'm gonna tell you real booger chicken. Are you ready?
Geez.
So my ex-wife made me real booger chicken.
Uh-huh.
She made what was called yogurt chicken. I had mentioned it before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was her way of trying to get out of cooking for the rest of her life. Is that she made this chicken. And I said, you think about the family that went into the store and they had run out of chicken, and you think about the family that you took this chicken away from, and then you abused this chicken the way that you did, and they couldn't have it. She grilled the chicken. She saw it on Etsy or wherever she was, Pinterest, and they put yogurt on the chicken, and she put the chicken in the oven and cooked the yogurt on it. And when she plated the chicken down, it was this white film, and it went like this when it put it down.
No.
Yeah, and it's like it never fully set, and there's like these clumps on the top, right? Yeah. So I'm eating it, and I don't really like asparagus, and I'm trying to eat it. I'm trying to be nice to her, and she's looking at me. She's like, "You don't like it, do you?" And I was like, "It's yogurt chicken." Like, who in their right mind would have hit? This is booger chicken, and I was like, "Who would have thought to do this?" And so I said to her, there was 2 or 3 pieces of these like cubes, and I said, "You know what? I didn't really like much of it." I didn't say it like that. I was like, you know what I loved? I tried to find something I liked because I didn't want to be negative. And I said, I loved the cheese on top. I loved like the cheese cubes, whatever those were. Yeah. And she goes, there was no cheese in that dish. And I was like,
man.
Oh my Lord. So I've had booger chicken.
Yeah, congratulations.
Real booger chicken.
Wow.
So, yes.
Yeah, stay away from the booger chicken from now on.
So yogurt chicken. It's I don't remember anything she made after that.
I don't even know if I'm going to look it up. Maybe one day.
Don't look it up.
Okay.
All I can tell you is I could still taste the texture and see it looked like cheese, but it was just white, and it was so gross. It was like clouded Jello on chicken. Yeah. Like you just chicken doesn't need you to.
To shimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shimmy chicken.
Chicken doesn't need you to like fake it.
Yeah,
you know.
No question.
It's like it's my Judah Mince chicken, right? So, what's your next one for me?
Oh, I just love music. So once we leave this place here, what's on your playlist?
Oh, when I get in the car,
4 songs.
Oh, okay, all right. So Rick Ross made it out alive, and I played that one.
Oh.
I said, you know what? Why doesn't anybody call out the fact that he stole that from Biggie? That's Biggie.
That's true. Oh.
You know what I mean? I think either he stole it from Biggie or they were both just trying to breathe. Because they're bigger guys, right?
So now you go to Rick Ross. Did you see Chris Tucker had a special, and he was just talking about his relationship and his friendship with Michael Jackson, and that. Did you ever see that part? It's on YouTube, but it's just maybe like a 10-minute 10-minute bit, and he just talks about how Michael Jackson loves Rick Ross. Like, I love Rick Ross. You know, it was this and yeah, and Chris Tucker was just going, you got to YouTube that. It's hilarious.
It's on Netflix.
Yes.
It's actually, so I watched that Chris Tucker one when I was in my old apartment before I got my house, and in that one, he said when he was in the video Rock My World.
Yes.
And he's like, you know, and I'm dancing and Michael's dancing. He's like, Michael turned and looked at me because he's like in his moment, he's doing his thing, and he's like, I'm getting into it. And he's like, Chris, what are you doing?
That's the same part. It's all in the same segment.
Like,
you got to see the entire thing.
Chris, what are you doing? We don't do this, Chris. We don't do this. And so he's like so soft, you know. I still remember the Free Willy song, the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
That one. That was a great. But yeah, so Rick Ross made it out alive. I would play Put On by Young Jeezy for Syracuse. Those two. Then I'll hit you with. What else would I put on? I would play probably something by Sarah Bareilles, because I really like Sarah Bareilles. She gets in, when I'm getting in my feelings, I'll go to Sarah Bareilles. And probably I'm going to say Drake, Headlines, because one of my favorite lines is, tuck my napkin in my shirt because I'm just mobbing like that. So then I do like that one. And I always
hear is
the
the horse.
That's all I hear. Tuck my napkin in my I always do this when I'm driving. And so if I'm like on a date and there's somebody's in my car for the first time, she has no idea what that is. But, you know, she better get to know. I will say, if a woman doesn't like your music or a man doesn't like your music, stop dating them. Because you can never you're not going to figure that out. You're not going to like get on that level. You know, if she doesn't like hip hop, let me just put it to you like this. When you date a girl, in my case, or date a man, but in my case a woman, and I say to her, well, you know No Diggity by Blackstreet, and she's like, what's that? Break up with her immediately.
Peace.
It will never work out. I know that entire song. I know Queen Bee's part. I know all of the. And by the way, Teddy Riley was auto-tuned before.
That is true. Yeah.
Before, why can't I think of his name? Before
T-Pain.
T-Pain.
Yep.
So, and they knocked him for it back in the day.
Yeah.
Teddy Riley said it wasn't real. Yeah. You can't play something that's not your voice. And now everybody's doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But T-Pain, yeah, he took that just like Rick. Oh, was like
yeah, that's right. Oh.
I put them up next to each other. I'm like, he does the Biggie grunt. But all right, let's stay with music. Give me your top. Give me your 4 on your playlist when we leave here.
All right, Dreams and Nightmares, McMill. Gotta have a McMill in there.
Yeah.
Let's see. My youngest has a playlist on there. She loves Bruno Mars and Silk Sonic.
Okay.
So, not that smoking out the window.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's. Yeah. She doesn't say the bad words, so
Bruno's got some dirty music.
Yeah,
if you listen to the innuendos.
Oh, no questions. I gotta be careful with that one.
Yeah,
That's that one, like your story with, you know, like LL Cool J. Stop. And so those two, and then it could be like let's see. I mean, I'm all over the place. Like I know I'm a Meek Mill guy when it comes
I'm
to
country, rap, R&B.
Yeah,
like I'm literally like all.
You know, any Thomas Rhett song that will come up might be one.
Okay.
Vacation, I think that's one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, my kids listen to that too, but I'll listen along. And then, all right, get this. Harry Styles.
Okay. He's got a new. Is he the one that does the new song? It's called "Music in a Sushi Restaurant."
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Yeah, it's wild. Like he's
such a weird title, but good.
Yeah, the dude he's actually pretty talented. Like
he is.
You know, get him outside. I've never listened to One Direction, but then like, yeah, like my oldest daughter is a Swiftie, loves Taylor Swift, and somehow we morphed into the Harry thing. And I was like, man, this is.
And he was just cool. In the movie Don't Worry, Darling.
Yes.
Which have you seen it?
I seen most of it.
Okay. That movie was not what I expected. I expected like Great Gatsby, make money, sleeping with each other's wives and husbands. That's what I thought. I did not expect a sci-fi twist. Did you get there yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that was
I got to the
unnerving.
end. I don't know at what point I started because it was on.
I watched that at night, and I literally said to God, "Please don't let me dream about this."
Yeah, seriously.
That was a weird movie.
Yeah, it was
good movie.
It was crazy. It actually was pretty good.
Yeah, it's on my top 10 of 2022. It did make my list. So.
Talented guy, so like he could have a number of songs. So it
He's
could
also
be,
in Marvel. He's going to be he's Star Fox now, the brother of Thanos.
I think we were watching. Was it watching? It was the end of one of the movies. I think it was Eternals, and my oldest daughter.
Yeah, that was one where he's Star Fox.
Yeah, and so when he's like, Harry Styles is at the end of this movie. I'm like, no way. He's like, no, let's just watch it real quick. Show the credits. So we were showing the credits. He comes on, and we just laughed our tails off. It was just, I don't know, because he comes out, you're like thinking like the artist singer, but he comes out the actor, and we just, I don't know.
Yeah,
we thought it was really funny.
Comes out as they call him Star Fox. Yeah. Very different.
So yeah, that's it. So those four right there.
Okay.
Harry Styles.
We're gonna do two more. What's your third question for me?
Oh boy, I'm boring. Favorite coffee?
Oh, favorite coffee. I mean, I probably get something here, obviously, but I mean, I do like it because their coffee's different here. There's some good stuff here, and I do like that they have a Guatemalan because I call my little brother, who's my cousin Miguel, but we're more like brothers, and he's from Guatemala City, Guatemala. So
nice.
Probably grab that one. That's the one in the house.
There you go.
All right. Describe me in 3 words. I have no idea what you're going to say.
No, I think loyalty, respect, so many good things. Loyalty, respect. Yeah, this is not so rapid fire.
That's okay.
And work. Like, I think putting all those things together, like you and what I see you do, you know, post games and things, and then things that we're doing now. It's just, if that's an answer itself, is that yeah, loyalty, respect, and you're just working your tail off.
I appreciate that. I respect that.
Yeah, I don't.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Thank
yeah,
you,
that's
sir.
all.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's all. That's a description, my man.
No, I appreciate
For sure.
that.
It's why I'm here. It's why it's the first time, and
thank
maybe not the only time. So hopefully we could
Yeah, do
maybe
it
sometime down the line. But yeah, man, you're the man.
I appreciate that. Well, that's coming from the man. So, what's your last question for me? That was
2 in
very
a
nice.
row?
Thank you.
You don't have a question?
Oh wait, did I? No, I
No.
said describe me in 3 words.
Oh,
So
see,
your last
brain
one.
fog. Like, gosh, I need more of
You need more coffee.
this right here.
Need more of the cafe.
If you were to
Put some peppermint in there.
Yeah, there you
Jump
go.
shot.
Favorite vacation spot? Again, where I am.
Well, it's a place I've been to the most.
Okay.
I
Or that
have-
you'd want to go to.
Okay,
A
so
wish list. Or
the
wish.
one that I've been to the most, and I have literally, I've been over 200 times, is Walt Disney World.
Walt Disney World is amazing.
So I've been there. I've worked.
Yeah.
I worked there, and I've been there. I've been there over 200 times. And if I do, so I cover the Jaguars.
Yeah.
When I do the Jaguars games, if I'm only in Florida for a couple days, I literally, if I'm there for 2 days or 3 days, I do Jaguars family Disney home.
What's your favorite park? Rapid fire.
Oh, because they're all changing. Well, my favorite ride is Ben Mount Everest. Love it forward and backward.
Yep.
And I love when you come down and all those people that are watching, I try to give them a show when I come down the thing.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
try to
sure.
make it fun.
Yeah, why not?
And I shamelessly plug Wake Up Call. So I know where the pictures are, so I try to do some stuff.
You know where the flashes go.
But my favorite ride right now, and I said, I don't know how I got to do this, but I'm living the Mariah Carey life.
Yeah,
I get up in the morning, I ride Guardians of the Galaxy, and I go home for the day. I get up, I go on my ride, I go home. The
Which one's
Guardians ride is nuts. It's
Which
new.
one
It's
is
at
that one?
Epcot.
Okay.
Open in May.
Okay.
Right. So I gotta ruin it for you. I'm gonna tell you it's called an Omni Coaster.
Okay.
So an Omni Coaster is that it goes forward and backward, and while you're moving forward and backward on the track, you're turning. Your actual seat is turning opposite or like different of other people on the track.
Oh, wow.
So you're like, and there's an IMAX thing that you're watching the whole time. That ride makes me feel like a guardian. I feel like I'm like literally like captaining a ship.
So it's like rock and roller coaster meets teacup meets.
But you're not like
Oh, you're not spinning, but
no,
you're still.
But it's like it's so
Indiana Jones.
and it's smooth. It's so smooth. Like you don't even feel like I tell people for all the movement it does. If you're afraid to be on coasters or you think you get motion, I tell people just go on this one because it's such a smooth ride that you don't even feel like. But I love that ride. So I would say Disney, but I would say places I haven't been. There's 3 I want to go to: Italy, Spain, see my family, and Hawaii.
Nice.
Gotta go to Hawaii.
You gotta go to Hawaii.
Have you been to Hawaii?
I have.
Oh yeah. 'cause you
Living
said
on the
Maui.
West Coast.
Yeah.
Living on the West Coast. Been there multiple times, but then we were able, my family and I were able to go meet my wife's family out in Kauai. And so that's just one of the smaller islands, so it was great because we got around. I mean, it was not
So your
as
wife is
populated.
Hawaiian?
No,
Oh no.
no, my wife is Caucasian.
Oh okay.
And so,
But is she
we
from
went there.
or for family?
She's from Oregon.
She's from Oregon, but
Yep.
her family lives in Hawaii.
No, we just met them over there
Oh,
because they're
you
from
met
Oregon.
them
They
over
all,
there.
they
Oh,
all.
okay, okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, you're good.
They all flew over there.
And they said that you
They
can't.
met-
It's
they
not
met.
Hawaii. It's what did Fluffy the comedian? He said it's Hawaii.
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 Yeah.
It's like a V instead of a
Yeah,
W.
yeah,
Hawaii.
it's amazing. Like I've been to over there, been to Maui. Obviously, you know, went there with my brother one time, but then we had the Maui Invitational way back when. And
Well, you
then,
did Paradise Islands, right? You went to the Bahamas too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Tough life.
Tough
Why do
life.
they do it during Thanksgiving week? Because I can't go. I cook.
know. It's oh man, yeah.
I
It's
want to go to.
amazing.
I want to go to the Bahamas.
Next year is Maui, I think.
Okay.
Something like that.
Please tell me it's not Thanksgiving week.
Probably, usually it is.
ridiculous.
And then, and then Oahu is basically like going to San Francisco on Long Island. So, my brother lived there for a little bit, you know, to do some work out there. So he spent a year out there and he had a blast. But yeah, it's a good spot. You gotta go.
Yeah, no, I feel
Hawaii is amazing.
I agree
Take your
with you.
time. Go through San Francisco, meet you, Joe Coy, and then you can hop over to go to Hawaii after that.
Yeah, I feel like we have to take Joe with us
Yeah, for sure.
to Hawaii.
He can do a show out there and just take us on his plane. How about
Yeah,
that?
why not that? Yeah,
I'd
Joe
love to
Coy.
meet him sometime. So you want to see Damon? I'll
wanna
see
meet
Joe
Joe.
Coy.
We'll make
We'll
it work.
figure it out. Make it happen.
Put it all together.
Yep.
Why not? I think Griff knows Dave Chappelle, and I said to Griff, I was like, the fact that you haven't set that up for me is disrespectful. Because I've known Griff and worked with Griff and done shows with Griff, and that's just wrong. And I've taken milk duds, you know, that's what Blackwell calls them.
Right.
He calls them milk dud, and
Yeah.
he calls Ryan Snackwell. But but Milk Dud's been ripping on me like crazy. I don't think he can take it though. When I try to lean into Alan, I don't feel like he can take it. He could dish it.
Right.
But when you throw it back at him, sometimes he kind of looks at me like, "Why are you gonna be so mean?" I was like, "Dude, you just attacked me. You attacked my teams." So my last question for you: if you could spend a day with anybody that's passed away, who would it be and why?
Oh man.
I got mine, Robin Williams, without doubt.
Yeah.
Without doubt.
For sure.
Luther Vandross.
I've been to a Luther concert before.
You have?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It had
It was
to be
it
awesome.
was like in the '90s, Oakland Coliseum.
And he
Unbelievable.
played them all. Always and Forever.
Yeah.
House is Not a Home.
Yeah, he
You know
did it
Luther's
all.
dirty, right? You went on one of his last albums.
Uh-huh.
He had a song called "Hit It Again." Did you ever listen to that
No,
with
I
Queen Latifah?
No.
He says, "If the feeling's nice, why not do it twice?" The whole song is nasty, and I'm like, Luther, I didn't know you got down like that. Luther was a freak.
That was
cool with it though.
unbelievable. No, that was an unbelievable concert. That was crazy. Man. Again, not so rapid fire, but
No, it's okay. You got to think it through. I understand.
yeah, no, it's.
I feel it. I respect
I'm
it.
just going through. You know what?
What are you gonna pick?
George Harrison.
Okay, why?
he's just an interesting guy. If you look at the you look at the Beatles, they all have their personalities. You know, I think for me it could be like, I'm never really a Paul guy, but sometimes like, all right, you know, John's great, John. George, but George is probably like, he's the quiet Beatle, they say, but he's probably the most interesting character of the group.
Okay.
I think, you know, his songs aren't out there, but they're highly popular. I think he's, you know, obviously well respected, you know, by his peers, and so yeah, he'd be interesting to hang out with.
Yeah.
I don't play guitar at all, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just, yeah.
You made me think
George
about
Harrison.
It was Robin Williams did the joke about the Rolling Stones, and he said when everybody's gone, there's going to be like 4 cockroaches, and who did he say? Oh my! See, I'm thinking Harry Styles' name right now. He said 4 cockroaches, and who's the guy from Rolling Stones? It's like
Mick Jagger?
No, the other guy, the guy that's like the guy that played Johnny Depp's dad in Pirates of the Caribbean.
The guitarist?
No, maybe it is Mick Jagger.
Could be Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Because Mick Jagger, I think the only out
The
of
one,
all of them
is
is
that
the
the
only
guy
one that
that
acts.
does like all the drugs? He's done all the drugs.
No, I think it's a guitarist.
Oh
I
yeah,
forgot his name.
it's
though.
okay. Hold on.
It's not Charlie Watts. Charlie Watts is
I don't
the
know
drummer.
why. Yeah, I don't know why I'm forgetting it right now.
We're gonna have this.
It
oh
was-
yeah, moment.
Oh, Keith Richards. Yeah, it's Keith Richards. And Robin Williams did a thing about Keith where he's like, Keith will be here and everybody will be gone, and he'll be looking at a cockroach and he'll go, I smoked your uncle, did you know that? He's like, crazy. But I'll never forget that he did that. Because Mick Jagger, it's like, or not Mick Jagger, it's like Keith Richards, how is he still alive?
Yeah, man.
They said that he goes and like takes all of his blood out and puts all new blood in. And he's
I don't
like,
know about that.
he's like, I want to see who gets his blood, and like some guy screaming at his wife.
Oh my goodness! In an
But yeah.
English accent.
But Keith Richards he played Jack Sparrow's father in Pirates of the Caribbean. And
He's not in the ride, is he?
No, he's not on the ride. But I actually said this. I have, and I do it kind of as a fun thing. As the only finger that doesn't have a ring is my ring finger. But I said I had my rings mean something.
Mm-hmm.
So I said I had a couple rings, and I went and got this last one. I said I want my hand to look like Jack Sparrow. So now I got everything with the ring. Because
Jack
if
Sparrow.
somebody wants to get on this finger, she's got to be worth it.
There you
But
go.
the other ones there's leadership, ambition.
Yep.
This is from my mom, and it spins, and there's like a meaning to it because I lost my one that I had.
Yep.
And then I wear my class ring on the other side.
There you go.
But yeah, Keith Richards showed up in the movie like twice, and he's sitting in the chair, and he's like so dark. I'm like, he looked like he was probably gone on set.
Yeah,
He wasn't even there. Black eyes. I was like, Keith, you doing it? He probably didn't even know he was at Pirates of the
No,
Caribbean.
they just sat him there, and he said, "All right, you need to say this," and that was it.
Yeah. He probably didn't even say what he was supposed to say. It's kind of like Christopher Walken. I don't think when he did Peter Pan Live on NBC and they were acting it out.
I remember that. That's crazy.
He did a 13-minute song. Probably was supposed to be a 3-minute song.
Right.
And he was just there like, wow, you know, he's like and he was saying things like, he's like, I'm over here, you're over there. Like there was no. He got to a point where he repeated himself like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, I think at this point Christopher Walken forgot what he was supposed to say.
Yeah, no question.
You know,
I think there was this, like I saw on YouTube, there was a Saturday Night Live thing, and the Foo Fighters were the entertainment for that night, and Christopher Walken was the guest host, and so he was asking the group, he's like, Dave Grohl was like, hey, you know, how do you emphasize the Foo or do you emphasize the Fighters? And they're like, oh yeah, this and that, and then he says, ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters. You know, I was like, what? Foo Fighters?
I loved him in Wedding Crashers, where he was talking to Owen Wilson,
right?
And he's like, I thought Moby Dick was a venereal disease, you know, like, and I'll never forget. I want to smoke a thing. Like, if I ever crashed a wedding, I want to crash. If Christopher Walken really has kids that still need to get married, I want to crash that wedding and just sit with him.
That'd be amazing.
He was incredible, and I'll never forget it. And I will tell you this in closing: I had a paint. I don't know where it is, But and love who you love. People do what they want to do. I'm straight, and there was a guy that came to school, and he stayed with one of my buddies. He did like the weekend overnight thing, like get to know Marywood, and he happened to be gay, and he was very quiet. Nobody was talking to him, and I went over to him, and I just was like, trying to get him like with all of us, get him into it. Like, I'm the person that if you put me in a room with a bunch of wallflowers, my challenge is I want to get y'all to laugh and have fun. If you walk out of the room and you didn't have fun with me, like you missed something. Because I want everybody to have a good time. So I try to get him into it, whatever. Well, in the stream of a couple days of trying to get him to like loosen up and relax and have fun with everybody, I guess he took a liking. Yeah. And so he left, and John goes, I don't really know how to give you this, but he made you something, and it was a painting, and it was this beautiful painting, really colorful, and all this stuff. And I put it on my wall. Yeah. And my roommate Patty goes, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You don't like the guy like that." I go, "No." I said, "But I've never had a woman make me a painting, so until a woman makes me a painting, this is going on the wall." I said, "He made it for me. I'm keeping it." And he's like, "How long?" I was like, "Forever." So then Wedding Crashers comes out after that. Yeah. Vince Vaughn says to Todd, "I'm keeping the painting. It was a gift." And I went, "See, Vince gets
there
it."
you go.
Because he left with that painting and nothing else. Yep. And I was like, you know what? And I still to this day, no woman's painted me anything. So get to know it, ladies. Maybe that'll be the one I'll keep.
This guy.
Got to paint. Yeah, single man in today's society, Ryan, just be happy you're married.
I am very happy.
Be happy you are married, because it is The Walking Dead meets Game of Thrones out there right now.
Oh, man.
There's a lot going on. So that being said, Ryan Cabiles, Director of Strength and Conditioning, Syracuse Orange Men's Basketball, myself, Dan Tortora, on-site on location from Cafe Kubal, and of course, you've been with us on this broadcast on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all / WakeUpCallDT, WakeUpCallDT.com, and Facebook.com /LiveNowDT. And of course, you can get us in the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. You can also ask Alexa or your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And a proud thank you to our incredible partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, Avicoli's, PB&J's Lunchbox, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corner Popcorn Factory, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, 317 at Montgomery Street, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Honda City of Liverpool, and Pizza Man. And of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins and your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. For their content, subscribe to youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT, or go to the Lemoyne tab and BSC Syracuse tabs on WakeUpCallDT.com, with new content exclusively airing every single month. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And as always, I leave you with God bless, no stress, do your best. Ryan, appreciate you.
Yeah,
Happy that we got to make